Chapter 438. The more Li Qianxue felt guilty and blamed herself for Su Qingsang, the more she hated Su Chenghui. Why are you still here? Get out. You're not welcome in this house now. Su Chenghui stood there without moving. Just now, Su Qingsang and Li Qianxue only cared about getting together. Both Old Master Li and Su Yusin were paying attention to Su Qingsang. No one was paying attention to him. Now that he was reprimanded by Li Qianxue, everyone looked at him. Needless to say, Old Master Li's eyes were full of hatred, just like Li Qianxue's. Although Su Yusin couldn't bear it, he also felt that Su Chenghui had gone too far. He didn't want to talk to him for the time being. Hu Jinyao had been focusing on Su Qingsang, so he couldn't feel any sympathy for Su Chenghui. Su Qingsang finally saw Su Chenghui. In fact, she had been hugged by Li Qianxue as soon as she entered the door. After that, she had no chance to pay attention to her surroundings at all. Now that she saw Su Chenghui, she suddenly felt a little sorry for him. He didn't look like the general manager of Li Group at all. His face was still swollen from Li Qianxue's slap. Old Master Li hit him on the shoulder twice. Although it couldn't be seen, the erection on his shoulders made his shoulders droop. He exuded a dispirited aura. If Li Qianxue had seen Su Chenghui like this in the past, she would have rushed over to him. Right now, her emotions did not fluctuate. There was only indifference, hatred, and hatred in her eyes. Get out. Li Qianxue hated Su Chenghui to the core. You're not welcome here. Get lost. Su Chenghui looked at Li Qianxue. In his impression, even when she was angry, she was still arrogant. No matter how much she hated him, she couldn't hide the love in her eyes. But now, in her eyes, he could not find the slightest bit of love, only hatred. She hated him. This realization made Su Chenghui very sad. His lips moved, and he looked at Li Qianxue. He had a lot to say, but at this moment, he couldn't say a word. Qianxue, get out. Li Qianxue pointed at the door. Su Chenghui, if you don't want to lose face, get out yourself. Otherwise, I will have to call the police. The determined look on her face told Su Chenghui that she was telling the truth. If he didn't leave, she might call the police. Su Chenghui closed his eyes. Once upon a time, they were a famous model couple in the business circle, but now they could only hate each other. Qianxue, he couldn't divorce her. I told you to get lost. Li Qianxue couldn't hide her agitation. She pointed at the door with hatred. Looking at Su Chenghui's face, Su Qingsang felt sorry for him. She didn't know what else to say to Su Chenghui. Mom, I'm hungry. As a bystander, she couldn't forgive Su Chenghui either. His actions had hurt two women. However, Su Qingsang felt that she couldn't just watch Li Qianxue embarrass him again and again in front of his children. He could only change the topic so that Li Qianxue would stop scolding Su Chenghui. Are you hungry? Let's hurry up and eat. As expected, Li Qianxue's attention was immediately diverted. He didn't even look at Su Chenghui. Old Master Li looked at her a few more times because of what she had done. Although this granddaughter of his had never been raised by Li Qianxue, she had a good nature. At a time like this, she could still think of Su Chenghui and use such a method to help him out. Hu Jinyao didn't miss Old Master Li's gaze. He looked at Su Qingsang with a more gentle gaze. Other people didn't know, but he knew it the best. His Qingsang was the kindest. Even though Su Chenghui had done many things to Su Qingsang, she couldn't ignore Su Chenghui's current situation. Let's go. Li Qianxue held Su Qingsang's hand and refused to let go. She led her to the dining room. Looking at the dishes on the table, she found that the servants in the kitchen had made their favorite dishes. Her face suddenly turned cold. Why didn't you make some of Mrs.'s favorite dishes? The servants and the chef looked at each other. There was such a big commotion in the living room, and they couldn't go over to watch. They didn't know what had happened. Hearing Li Qianxue say that out of the blue, they were a little confused. Isn't Miss in the United States? A very low voice sounded. Li Qianxue almost lost her temper again. Su Qingsang quickly pulled her back. Mom, don't be like this. You'll scare people. They don't know. After Li Qianxue lost her temper, she realized that she seemed to have done something wrong. She shouldn't have asked. She turned her face to look at Su Qingsang. What do you usually like to eat? Only now did she realize that she didn't even know what Su Qing-sang liked to eat. This made her voice sound even more guilty and remorseful. Mom, it's okay. You really don't have to do this. She said it casually, but Li Qianxue only felt sad. Her daughter was supposed to be pampered and brought up. But now, she was like a weed. She felt more and more guilty and pulled Su Qing-sang to sit next to her. Qing-sang, what do you like to eat? Just tell me. I'll ask them to make it for you next time. Okay. At this time, Su Qing-sang didn't want to disappoint her, so she nodded faintly and didn't object. Old Master Li and Su Yusin both sat down. Su Chenghui didn't follow in. He was smart. If he really dared to come in, Li Qianxue could guarantee that she would definitely drive him out. Hua Jinyao sat next to Su Qing-sang and watched Li Qianxue put food into Su Qing-sang's bowl. It wasn't just her. Old Master Li and Su Yusin actually had a lot to say. However, they all knew that Li Qianxue was excited at this time. Compared to her, they were restrained. It wasn't the first time Su Qing-sang had eaten with Li Qianxue and the others, but it was the first time she participated as Li Qianxue's daughter. This feeling was very subtle. After a while, her bowl was piled up with food that she couldn't finish. Li Qianxue really wanted to make up for it. She couldn't wait to make up for the blank time in the past between the two of them, even though she knew that such a gap couldn't be made up for in 1 or 2 days. Su Qing-sang could understand her feelings, so even though she felt that Li Qianxue's enthusiasm was a little overwhelming, she still smiled and accepted her goodwill. Su Qing-sang couldn't eat anymore after she was 70% full, mainly because Old Master Li and Li Qianxue were too exaggerated. Su Qing-sang really couldn't stand their enthusiasm. I'm really full. She looked at Hua Jinyao for help. Hua Jinyao was about to help her out when her phone rang at this time. She was stunned for a moment. When she met several pairs of eyes that were looking at her, she took out her phone with great discomfort. Chapter 439. When Hua Jinyao took Su Qing-sang away, he only said that he was going to ask when they could fly. But now it was time for dinner, but they were still here and hadn't gone back. Xiang Kaiping waited in Hua Jinyao's villa for a long time, but they didn't come back. She was a little worried. Looking at the number on the phone, Su Qing-sang was stunned for a moment. She suddenly felt a little conflicted. At this time, she subconsciously looked at Hua Jinyao. Li Qianxue was sitting next to her and saw the name on the phone at a glance. It was a very simple word. Only one word, Mom. Li Qianxue's heart skipped a beat. She seemed to have just remembered that Su Qing-sang had regarded Xiang Kaiping as her mother. Her hand trembled a little, and she almost couldn't control herself from grabbing Su Qing-sang's phone. Su Qing-sang was very embarrassed. She also knew that Li Qianxue had seen it, but the phone kept ringing. Looking at Old Master Li and Su Yusin, she had to answer the phone. Li Qianxue was next to her. She really didn't have the courage to call her mother. Hua Jinyao glanced at her and took her phone from her palm. He glanced at the others, stood up, and walked to the side to answer the phone. Su Qing-sang felt as if a stone in her heart had been lifted at this moment. She let out a long sigh of relief. When she turned her head, she met Li Qianxue's eyes full of pain. Her heart trembled, and she could hardly keep her face calm anymore. The inexplicable feeling of guilt made it impossible for her to meet Li Qianxue's gaze. On the other end, Hua Jinyao glanced over and listened to Xiang Caiping's concerned voice on the other side of the phone. Qing-sang, why haven't you come back for dinner yet? Xiang Kaiping had been accompanied by her daughter and son-in-law. Suddenly, he had to eat dinner alone. It was really lonely. We have something to do here. Mom, you eat first. We'll come back when we're done. Okay, then drive carefully. Be careful when you come back at night. It's still cold. Don't catch a cold. Okay. Hua Jinyao said a few more words in a very soft voice. He hung up. He returned to his seat and returned the phone to Su Qing-sang. Li Qianxue watched Su Qing-sang take the phone. The phone had been hung up, but she was still sitting there in a daze. Su Qing-sang was a little embarrassed, especially when 3 pairs of eyes were staring at her. It didn't feel good at all. She wanted to say something, but words were too weak at this time. Li Qianxue's body was very stiff. She sat there and kept staring at Su Qing-sang. Su Qing-sang felt very uncomfortable under Li Qianxue's stare. She almost wanted to get up and slip away, But Li Qianxue suddenly stood up and pulled her up. Let's go. Follow me. Mom. Where to? Let's go. Let's go talk to her. Su Qingsang paused for a moment, then understood what Li Qianxue meant. She subconsciously wanted to pull her hand out. Li Qianxue suddenly turned around and looked at her. You called her mother? Su Qingsang's lips moved, but she had nothing to say. Did you call her mom? Su Qingsang couldn't answer. If Xiang Kaiping was really a bad person or a real mistress, she could happily accept Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue was innocent, and so was Xiang Kaiping. You didn't call her mom? Li Qianxue was obsessed with this point and stubbornly wanted an answer. Su Qingsang couldn't answer, but Su Yusin couldn't stand it anymore. He stepped forward and stood in front of Li Qianxue. Mom, what are you doing? Sister didn't know before, but she knows now. She knows now. Li Qianxue closed her eyes. It couldn't be like this. It couldn't be like this. She suddenly turned around and looked at Su Qingsang. You didn't tell her, did you? You didn't plan to tell her at all, did you? Su Qingsang didn't know what to say. She wanted to admit that Li Qianxue's heart was true. She didn't want to hurt Xiang Caiping's heart, and that was also true. At this moment, she seemed to understand Su Qinghui's feelings a little. She was in a dilemma. You didn't tell her? You want to be her daughter? You still want to be her daughter, don't you? Don't you? Li Qianxue almost broke down. She couldn't accept this fact. How could this be? Her daughter. She is always ignored, always ignored. She finally wanted to be with her daughter, but she had already decided to have another mother. Then why did you come back? Why did you come back? Li Qianxue felt hurt. She put her hand over her heart and felt terrible. Why did you come back? Why did you come back? Su Qingsang took a step forward and wanted to say something, but it seemed that it was not appropriate to say anything at this time. Old Master Li looked at the chaos in front of him. His body swayed, but he managed to stabilize himself. Su Yusin wanted to say something, but he didn't know where to start. Li Qianxue was still sad. Su Qingsang looked helpless. At this moment, Hua Jinyao suddenly took a step forward. He stood next to Su Qingsang and put his hands on her shoulders. Mrs. Su, are you blaming Qingsang now? As soon as he spoke, everyone's eyes fell on him. Hearing Hua Jinyao call her Mrs. Su, Li Qianxue only felt uncomfortable. I am her mother. I am. But that's because you don't know how they met. You don't know how good Xiang Kaiping is to Qingsang. These people in front of her were all insiders. But Hua Jinyao was not. He wrapped Su Qingsang's body in his arms, using this posture to declare his attitude. Su Qingsang felt the heat from his body, and her heart seemed to calm down a lot. Hua Jinyao patted her shoulder and looked at Li Qianxue. Xiang Kaiping met Qingsang for the first time in Rong City. Hua Jinyao's words were very simple, and he explained the situation in a few words. When Su Qingsang was in Rong City, she was on the news. Later, Xiang Kaiping saw her on TV and found that she looked very similar to Su Chenghui. After knowing that her name was Qingsang, she decided to come to find her. I have investigated everything about Xiang Kaiping. I know that she gave birth to a child the day after Christmas that year. I also know that the child was later taken away by Su Chenghui. Qingsang wanted to do a paternity test, but Su Chenghui came to find her. With him, we are more certain. Mrs. Su, when you're blaming Qingsang, I also want to tell you something. What Miss Xiang Kaiping has done for Qingsang. More than 20 years ago, Xiang Kaiping did abandon her daughter. However, when he thought that Su Qingsang was his daughter, everything he did was motherly. The sweater that Qingsang is wearing now was knitted by her. She got into an argument with Su Peijian to buy a gift for Qingsang and was almost hit by a car. Xiang Kaiping is still in a wheelchair. Hua Jinyao looked at Li Qianxue's calm expression, and his voice softened a little. Before the new year, Qingsang knew that she was not Xiang Caiping's child. Qingsang was type AB, but Xiang Kaiping was type O. Qingsang knew, but because she did not want to hurt Xiang Kaiping, she chose to keep her mouth shut. At that time, Qingsang also wanted to question Su Chenghui, but he refused to say. Later, when she found out that her mother was you, she wanted to come to the Su family to see you immediately. But you went to the United States. You heard it clearly. She wanted to see you immediately, but you were not there. She wanted to see you on an impulse. You were not in Lin City, but you gave her time to calm down. You were innocent. What about Xiang Kaiping? You flew to the United States for Xiang Saiping's daughter, afraid that she would be lonely in a foreign land. But have you ever thought about it? For the past 20 years, Qing Sang has been alone. Who has ever pitied her when she was lonely? Hua Jinyao's voice was not accusatory. He was just calmly pointing out the truth. But such a truth was even harder to accept than accusation. Li Qianxue's body went limp, and she could barely stand. She collapsed on the dining chair. Only Xiang Kaiping. It was because of her that Qing Sang had motherly love. Xiang Kaiping did not know that Qing Sang was not her child, and she treated Qing Sang with sincerity. If Qing Sang could not wait to meet you as soon as she knew who she was, completely disregarding Xiang Saiping's feelings. Would you want a daughter like that? Would you want to meet her? Li Qianxue's face was pale, and she could not say a word. Not only her, but Su Yusin and Old Master Li also lowered their heads. Yes, Su Qing Sang was the legitimate daughter of the Su family. It would only be good for her to meet them. There was no harm. But even under such circumstances, Su Qing Sang did not want to meet them immediately. She had concerns in her heart. Such concerns were for someone who was actually unrelated to her, but had given her motherly love. Mrs. Su, please forgive me for not being very nice right now. But I still want to say that you are unhappy because Qing Sang called Xiang Kaiping mom for a few months. Then for the past 20 years, Su Peijian has always called you mom. Putting yourself in her shoes, isn't Qing Sang more qualified than you to be unhappy? Li Qianxue could not say a word. She just sat there in a daze. Su Yusin stood next to her. Looking at his mother like this, he could not comfort her even if he wanted to. Su Qing Sang could not help but glare at Hua Jinyao. She knew that he was eloquent. But wasn't it too much to say that to Li Qianxue? Hua Jinyao raised his eyebrows. He did not do it on purpose. If he had to blame someone, he could only blame Su Chenghui. Li Qianxue suddenly leaned on the table and cried herself hoarse. Her heartache, which had already eased, came out uncontrollably again. Su Qingsang's nose began to sting again. She took a few steps forward and squatted down beside Li Qianxue. She reached out and gently held her hand on her knee. Mom, don't cry. These things, it's not your fault. I have never blamed you. Her eyes were exceptionally clear. Chapter 440. She's really nice to me. For the past few months, she has been accompanying me and taking care of me. So, can you not be angry? If possible, Su Qing Sang really didn't want to hurt Xiang Kaiping. Don't worry. I will definitely make it clear to her. But really, please give me some time. Li Qianxue stopped crying. She did not move from her position on the table. Seeing this, Su Qingsang's emotions were quite complicated. If only she had known about her past a little earlier, then she wouldn't have so many concerns. Mom, Su Yusin stepped forward and patted Li Qianxue's shoulder. Just listen to your sister. Old Master Li, who had been silent the whole time, let out a long sigh. Qianxue, Qing Sang didn't do anything wrong this time. You should calm down too. If they were in each other's shoes, Su Qing Sang had only called Xiang Kaiping mom for a few months, and Li Qianxue couldn't stand it. Su Peijian had been calling Li Qianxue mother for more than 20 years. What would Xiang Kaiping do? Li Qianxue knew all of this. But knowing was one thing, and accepting was another. She looked up at Su Qing Sang with tears in her eyes. Yes, you're not wrong. I'm the one at fault. It was always me. If she hadn't forced a relationship that didn't belong to her, if she hadn't seen through Su Qinghui's viciousness, she wouldn't have been separated from her daughter for so many years. Mom, Su Qing Sang didn't like the atmosphere. She hugged Li Qianxue and gently patted her back. Don't say any more. You're not wrong either. None of us did anything wrong. That was right. None of them had done anything wrong. Su Chenghui had always been in the wrong. Su Chenghui hadn't left. He stood in the living room, not knowing where else he could go or what else he could do. This was his home. Even if he didn't like it in the beginning, no matter how much he didn't accept it. After more than 20 years, he had gotten used to this family. If Li Qianxue wanted to drive him away, he had a place to go. He just didn't want to leave. It wasn't until he heard the commotion coming from the dining room that he slowly and steadily walked into the dining room like an old man. He didn't go in. He stood at the door and listened to Hui Jinyao and Li Qianxue's conversation. Su Qingsang said that Li Qianxue was not in the wrong, that it could only be him. Su Chenghui looked as if he had suffered a great blow. Without hesitation, he left the place. He walked quickly. It was as if someone was chasing after him. Except for Hua Jinyao, almost no one noticed that Su Chenghui had appeared and disappeared at the door of the restaurant. Hua Jinyao narrowed his eyes as he watched Su Chenghui leave. Li Qianxue's emotions finally calmed down. She held Su Qingsang's hand and followed her out of the restaurant. The mother and daughter sat down on the sofa. Li Qianxue had a lot to ask Su Qingsang and a lot to tell her. Su Qingsang knew that she was agitated and couldn't be calmed down in a short time. He wanted to change the topic, but he felt that the current mood was not suitable. She pulled out a tissue from the side and wiped Li Qianxue's tears. "Mom, look at you." His eyes were red. "Don't cry next time." "All right, I won't cry." Li Qianxue wanted to cry again because of her words. However, he did his best to restrain himself. She held Su Qingsang's hand and looked at her daughter. How careless was she? Although Su Qingsang looked like Su Chenghui, the shape of her face was clearly the same as hers. She looked like Su Yusin. She actually didn't think in that direction even once. She was really a careless mother. Old Master Li looked at the mother and daughter in front of him and glanced at Hui Jinyao out of the corner of his eye. Speaking of which, he had some regrets before. Hui Jinyao was such an outstanding young man, but he didn't marry his own granddaughter. Now, that regret was gone. Hui Jinyao married Su Qingsang, but Su Qingsang was his own granddaughter. Old Master Li was not in a hurry to talk to Su Qingsang, but he did have something to say to Hui Jinyao. "Jinyao, I heard that you were going back to Rong City." "Yes." Hui Jinyao nodded. "Qingsang and I have been married for so long, but we haven't been there yet. The headquarters of Tianyu Group was originally in Rong City, but now, I'm afraid Qianxue won't be willing to let Qingsang go." It wasn't easy for them to reconcile. Judging from Li Qianxue's current attitude, there was no way she would let Su Qingsang go to Rong City. Li Qianxue seemed to confirm Old Master Li's words. She grabbed Su Qingsang's hand tightly and said, "I won't allow you to go, even if it's convenient for me to fly to Rong City. But that was someone else's house. I don't want you to go." "Mom." Su Qingsang felt a little awkward. He turned to look at Hui Jinyao. "Mom, what do you think?" Hui Jinyao followed Su Qingsang's advice and called her mother. "I'll go back to Rong City for the next few days to take care of some things." As for Qingsang, he would stay at home for the time being. Anyway, she just quit her job in the hospital, so it's fine if she doesn't go. "That's good. He happened to be at home with me." Su Qingsang looked at Li Qianxue. At this time, she couldn't say no. She couldn't help but look at Hui Jinyao. She found that she seemed to be used to this action. When she didn't know what to do, Hui Jinyao could always give her strength and calm her down. "Qingsang, you can stay here today. Then I'll go home later." Hui Jinyao knew very well that Li Qianxue wouldn't let Su Qingsang go back today. But Xiang Kaiping was still waiting. She wasn't stupid. Why didn't Su Qingsang go back? Li Qianxue's lips moved. She wanted to say that she didn't need to worry about Xiang Kaiping, but she couldn't say it. In order to divert her attention, Su Qingsang changed the topic. "All right, Mom. How did you know about this?" She did a paternity test, and Su Chenghui admitted it himself. But Su Chenghui would never tell Li Qianxue. "Yusin told me." Thinking of this, Li Qianxue still felt a lingering fear. If Su Yusin hadn't heard the conversation between Hui Jinyao and Su Chenghui, Su Qingsang didn't want to acknowledge her. When they went to Rong City, he would never know that Su Qingsang was actually his daughter for the rest of his life. She didn't even dare to think about it now. How did Yusin know? Su Qingsang was really curious. Su Yusin didn't hide it. He glanced at Hui Jinyao and told him how he knew about this. Su Qingsang didn't say anything else. Looking at it this way, everything, it was really God's will. She didn't want to acknowledge Li Qianxue, but she still found out. "Qingsang, you're back with me now. I don't care what you thought before. I really won't let you leave me again." Li Qianxue felt very insecure now. She needed some assurance, some certainty. Su Qingsang nodded gently. Mom, don't worry. I won't leave you. Even if she went to wrong city, she could come back to see her often. Hearing her promise, Li Qianxue's expression relaxed a little. For a moment, she was a little touched and reached out to hug Su Qingsang tightly. Hua Jinyao didn't stay for long. He played a game of chess with old Master Li. He got up and said goodbye. Su Qingsang took the opportunity to send him off and followed him out. Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang didn't regret acknowledging Li Qianxue, especially when she saw Li Qianxue like that. She couldn't bear it. However, she still felt uneasy. In fact, if she talked to Xiang Kaiping nicely, it probably wouldn't be a big problem. But just now, everyone had forgotten that there was another person involved in this incident. Su Peixian. Hua Jinyao. As Su Qingsang spoke, she wrapped her arms around Hua Jinyao's waist. Tell me, am I wrong? If she hadn't been persistent in seeking an answer, if she hadn't secretly gone to do a paternity test, Li Qianxue wouldn't have known until now. You're not wrong. Don't think too much. But I already said you're not wrong. Don't think about it. How could she not think about it? Su Qingsang looked at Hua Jinyao and then at the door behind them. She lowered her head and said softly, There's something I didn't mention just now, but it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. What? Su Peixian. Su Qingsang's expression was very complicated. I'm back. What about Su Peixian? Hua Jinyao frowned. She's not under your control, right? It's not a matter of whether I care or not. Su Qingsang sighed in her heart. I've only been with Annie for a few months, and we already have such a deep relationship. Su Peixian has been with my mother for more than 20 years. Their relationship must be deeper than ours. You don't like her? You don't want to see her? After all, Su Qingsang and Su Peixian didn't get along. No. Su Qingsang looked at Hua Jinyao. I'm not the kind of person who can't tolerate others. I'm also not the kind of person who has a chicken belly. But Su Peixian is different from me. I'm afraid that when the time comes, she won't be able to accept this fact. She broke my mother's heart. Li Qianxue was so angry now. She even kicked Su Chenghui out. When that time came, she was afraid that she would vent her anger on her. Although Su Peixian had a spoiled personality, in this matter, she was considered innocent. If Li Qianxue really vented her anger on her, Xiang Jingcheng suddenly flicked her forehead. He looked at her with a helpless look in his eyes. All right, don't think about it. These things are not your business, and it's not something you should worry about. According to what I said, let your mother worry about these things. It's really not your turn to think about these things. But even if Su Peixian doesn't accept it, she will make trouble for you. Don't you still have me? Hua Jinyao pinched her cheek. I won't watch my wife be bullied. Moreover, it wasn't easy for Li Qianxue to recognize Su Qingsang. How could she allow others to bully her, even if that person was Su Peixian? What are you thinking? I'm not worried about her bullying me. I'm worried about my mother. Li Qianxue and Su Peixian had been mother and daughter for more than 20 years. Would she really not fall out with Su Peixian because she knew the reason? Chapter 441. That's enough. You don't have to worry about her. As for making your mother happy, it's a very simple thing. You stay and accompany her. She'll be very happy. Hua Jinyao's words made Su Qingsang fall silent. That was the reason, but she still couldn't accept it in her heart. Hua Jinyao. She suddenly took a step closer to him and reached out to hold his hand. Do you think Grandpa won't be unhappy if I don't go back with you? Old Master Hua was a very good person. Su Qingsang didn't want to make him unhappy. Of course not. Don't worry. I'm here. He would definitely be unhappy. After getting married, not only did he not bring her back for the new year, but now he didn't even go back for the festival. Moreover, they had agreed on it before. Now, Lu Tongjia and Ho Mingguang would probably be unhappy. Su Qingsang couldn't completely relax, but Hua Jinyao's repeated promises made her less worried. Hua Jinyao looked at her and couldn't help but rub the top of her head again. You're still a doctor. You're so worried. All right, I'm here for everything. Okay. Su Qingsang nodded heavily. Well, remember to tell her when you go back. They all knew who she was. Hua Jinyao resisted the urge to flick her again. Oh, you. Can you not worry about these things? Su Qing-sang didn't say anything. She just thought a little too much. Don't worry. I'll leave the story for you to tell. Today, I'll say that there's a problem with a patient in the hospital. I need you to keep an eye on him. Is that okay? Su Qing-sang wasn't sure if Xiang Kaiping would believe her. However, this excuse was the best way to go about it. Thank you. Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao leaned over and kissed her on the lips. It's okay. I'll keep the gift for later. Su Qing-sang blushed. Being disturbed by Hua Jinyao like that seemed to have dissipated all of a sudden. After sending Hua Jinyao off, Su Qing-sang turned around and walked back, only to find that Li Qianxue had been standing at the door, looking at her from afar. After seeing her turn around, she looked embarrassed and at ease. Su Qing-sang had never seen Li Qianxue like that. Feeling a little sour, his footsteps quickened. Mom, it's windy outside. What are you doing out here? I'm fine. I just want to see you. Su Qing-sang's eyes were a little wet, but she suppressed that feeling. She stepped forward and hooked her arm around Li Qianxue's. Mom, you might as well look at yourself instead of me. You're much prettier than me. Li Qianxue's mood finally improved because of Su Qing-sang's words. Who said that? My daughter is the prettiest. Old Master Li had been waiting in the living room. In fact, he and Su Yusin had the same worries as Li Qianxue. He was afraid that Su Qing-sang would run away. Now that she had not left, Old Master Li's Su Yusin breathed a sigh of relief. Li Qianxue was actually very tired. It had been a long-distance flight of more than 10 hours, and after getting off the plane, he had experienced such an emotional roller coaster. She was tired and sleepy, but she could not bear to go to sleep. After exchanging a few words with her, Su Qing-sang noticed that Li Qianxue was exhausted. She couldn't bear it. Mom, go rest. I promise I'll still be here when you wake up. Then you sleep with me tonight. Li Qianxue grabbed her hand. Just sleep with Mom, okay? Su Qing-sang couldn't refuse, so she finally nodded. Okay. Li Qianxue was satisfied, thinking that she hadn't come back to stay before. She called the servants and asked them to go upstairs and change all the bedsheets. Old Master Li was old and couldn't afford to be tossed around. Indeed, Su Qing-sang went upstairs to rest after not leaving. The mother and daughter went upstairs. Su Qing-sang had a room here before, so naturally there were clothes there. When Li Qianxue went to take a shower, Su Qing-sang went back to her room to find her clothes. The servants cleaned regularly, so the things in the room were still there. Su Qing-sang looked at all of this and actually felt a little emotional. She picked out a set of pajamas and returned to Li Qianxue's room. She had already taken a shower, and it seemed that she had taken a quick shower. It was as if she was afraid that she would run away. Li Qianxue's lack of security made Su Qing-sang feel helpless. She took her pajamas and was about to go into the bathroom. Just like her, she wanted to get it done quickly. Li Qianxue's phone rang at this moment. The two of them looked at each other. Li Qianxue glanced at the screen, and her expression suddenly changed. Su Qing-sang also saw it. It was Su Peijian's call. Li Qianxue didn't answer the phone. Previously, she was completely immersed in the matter of recognizing her daughter. Now that she had calmed down, she also thought of Su Peijian. It was a fact that Su Peijian wasn't her daughter. But no matter how much she hated Su Qinghui, she had raised Su Peijian for more than 20 years. If she was asked to treat Su Peijian coldly, she couldn't do it. But if she was asked to pretend that nothing had happened and continue to be Su Peijian's mother and daughter, she couldn't do it. Li Qianxue looked at the number now and hated Su Chenghui even more. Mom, you'd better answer it. Su Qing-sang actually sympathized with Su Peijian. She didn't dare to think about how Su Peijian would react if she knew. Li Qianxue looked at her, picked up the phone, and picked up. Mom. When Su Peijian returned to her apartment, Su Yusin told Li Qianxue to ask Su Qinghui if he agreed to let her come back. But now, so much time had passed. She didn't receive a call from Su Yusin or Li Qianxue. Su Peijian had been alone in the United States. Even though Li Qianxue had hired someone to take care of her, she had had enough. Now that she had returned to her apartment, even though she had returned to China, she was still alone. What was the difference between this and letting her stay abroad? After the nanny made dinner for her that night, she had been waiting for Li Qianxue's call. After waiting for a while, He called Li Qianxue. What did Dad say? Does he agree to let me come back? Li Qianxue did not say anything. In fact, at this point, she really didn't know how to get along with Su Peijian. Li Qianxue didn't even want to respond to her calling her mom. Mom, did Dad disagree? Su Peijian's voice was suddenly full of sadness. Dad, why are you like this? It's been so long, and you still haven't calmed down. Li Qianxue didn't want to listen anymore. She suddenly remembered why Su Chenghui had sent Su Peijian away. If not for Su Peijian, Xiang Kaiping would not have been injured. Su Qingsang would not have pity for Xiang Kaiping. Your dad hasn't calmed down yet. You should stay here for a while. When he calms down, naturally, he will let you come back. Li Qianxue's voice was a little cold. Su Peijian was stunned. Mom? That's it. I'm tired today. I want to rest first. Mom? Su Peijian's voice was a little worried. Did you quarrel with Dad? Don't quarrel with Dad. If he doesn't want me to come back, I won't come back. Don't quarrel with Dad because of me. Her parents didn't have a good relationship to begin with. If they quarreled every 3 days, there would be a big quarrel every 5 days. Their relationship would probably become even worse. If that woman, Xiang Kaiping, provoked again, perhaps Su Qinghui's heart would be even more biased toward her. Because of Su Peijian's words, Li Qianxue couldn't continue to harden her heart. Su Qingsang had a mother-daughter relationship with Xiang Kaiping. How could Su Peijian not have feelings for her? I know. You should rest. I'm tired too. I'll sleep first. She was afraid that she would expose herself. Li Qianxue quickly hung up the phone. When she turned to face Su Qingsang, she felt uncomfortable again. Qingsang, will you be angry? Why would I be angry? Your sister, Su Peijian. Su Qingsang and Su Peijian's identities had been swapped. Su Qingsang was no longer Su Peijian's sister. Instead, she was her sister. After all, she has been by my side for more than 20 years. She wanted to tell her Su Peijian's background directly. However, she couldn't say it out loud. Mom, I know everything. Don't explain. Feelings weren't born. They were born together. Su Qingsang knew this very well. I'm going to take a shower. Mom, you sleep first. When Su Qingsang came out of the bathroom, only a small bedside lamp was left in the room. Li Qianxue's eyes were closed, as if she had fallen asleep. She walked to the bed quietly. Su Qingsang lay down very gently, as if she was not afraid of waking her up. Unexpectedly, Li Qianxue wasn't in a deep sleep at all. As soon as she heard her movements, she woke up and opened her eyes to look at her. Are you done? Mom, go to sleep. Su Qingsang looked at her and really felt sorry for her. I'm here. I won't run away. Li Qianxue blinked. I know you won't run away. I will. She was just a little worried. Su Qingsang held her hand. Then I'll hold your hand to sleep tonight? Okay. Li Qianxue held her hand tightly. She held a little tightly, but Su Qingsang didn't break free. Qingsang. Li Qianxue looked at her. She couldn't get enough of her. She was clearly very sleepy, but she still wanted to say a few more words to her. It's been hard on you in the past few years. It's not hard. Su Qingsang shook her head. Mom, don't think like that. I should have treated you better. Li Qianxue really regretted it. I really should have treated you better. If that was the case, she wouldn't be as regretful, self-blaming, and upset as she was now. Her heart ached when she thought of the missed time. Mom, don't think like that. I'm really good. How could she be good? Li Qianxue thought about how Su Qingsang had been at home before she was 18. Can you tell me about you? Anything is fine. Su Qingsang was a little embarrassed. She really didn't know what to say. Just tell me why you became a doctor. Why did Su Qingsang become a doctor? Because she couldn't understand why there would be women who didn't want their children. Therefore, she chose to become an obstetrician and gynecologist. She wanted to meet more pregnant women. She wanted to know what these mothers were thinking. But she couldn't say this to Li Qianxue. If she said it, she would feel bad again. Mom, I'll tell you something about me in medical school. We first learned theory in our freshman year. Then, Su Qingsang skipped the question just now and didn't answer, but Li Qianxue could keenly sense that she must be hiding something. If she didn't want to say it, she wouldn't ask. However, she still felt a little regretful. Her daughter wasn't close to her now. If she wanted Su Qing-sang to completely believe and accept her, it wouldn't be a matter of a day or two. Su Qing-sang's voice was very pleasant. At least, Li Qianxue was fascinated by it. She listened to her talk about the interesting things about going to college and how she felt when she took her first anatomy class. Those lost times were becoming clear bit by bit through this way. Li Qianxue was really too sleepy. After forcing herself to listen for more than half an hour, she finally fell asleep. After Li Qianxue fell asleep, Su Qing-sang could finally take a breather. In fact, she was also tired. Looking at Li Qianxue, she gently moved her body closer to her. This feeling was quite wonderful. It was completely different from the feeling when she slept with Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao gave her security, peace of mind, and a thick warmth. But Li Qianxue gave her a different feeling. She couldn't tell, but this feeling was wonderful. Li Qianxue had a faint fragrance on her body. Her body was very soft and warm. Su Qing-sang carefully moved her face closer to Su Qing-sang's shoulder. She felt the temperature of Li Qianxue's body. This was the warmth that belonged to a mother. Su Qing-sang closed her eyes, curled up the corners of her lips, and slowly fell asleep. Li Qianxue was extremely tired yesterday, but she woke up early in the morning. The excitement of the first day was too great. She had a dream that night. From the first time she met Su Changhui to giving birth to his child. And then there was everything that happened yesterday. She dreamed that she couldn't make Su Qing-sang stay. She still got on the plane to Rong City. No matter how she called, Su Qing-sang refused to look back. She was scared awake by that dream. When she opened her eyes, she saw Su Qing-sang sleeping next to her. Her daughter's steady breathing and rosy cheeks from a night's sleep were reminding her that she was just dreaming. As long as it was a dream, Li Qianxue's hands and feet were still a little weak. She looked at Su Qing-sang's side profile. Looking at her like this, she could feel that her facial features were more similar to her. This was her daughter, her biological daughter, her real daughter. She looked at Su Qing-sang's face leaning against her shoulder, and her hand was still holding hers. She felt like a little baby snuggling up to her parents. She had been sleeping in separate rooms with Su Changhui for a long time. When she went to the United States, she also shared a room with Su Peijian. It had been a long, long time since she had slept in the same bed with someone. She couldn't help but raise her hand and pinch Su Qing-sang's cheek. The warm touch reminded her that Su Qing-sang was real. It wasn't a dream. Her daughter was now sleeping in the same bed with her. Hua Jinyao, stop it! Su Qing-sang was disturbed by her movements. She thought that Hua Jinyao was beside her, so she muttered. She didn't wake up. Instead, she frowned and fell asleep again. Li Qianxue was stunned by her words. She seemed to have just remembered that Su Qing-sang was already married. Hua Jinyao. Li Qianxue had never liked him before. All the things he did to protect Su Qing-sang made her feel a little uncomfortable. Chapter 442. Although she had to be grateful to Hua Jinyao for all the things that had happened before, at least when she didn't know, he protected Su Qing-sang again and again. These actions made her feel uncomfortable at the time, and she was grateful now. However, no matter how grateful she was, she couldn't hide the fact that Hua Jinyao and Su Qing-sang's marriage was too casual. She didn't know it before, but now she knew. She was quite dissatisfied. Hua Jinyao had married her daughter so casually. Now he was taking Su Qing-sang back to Rong City to develop. She didn't have enough love for her daughter. How could she let Hua Jinyao take her to Rong City so easily? No matter what, she should make things difficult for him, shouldn't she? There was a knock on the door, and Su Yusin's voice sounded outside. Mom, are you up? It's time for dinner. Coming. Li Qianxue quickly got up and quietly walked to the door to open it. I'll come down later. Don't disturb your sister. Let her sleep a little longer. Mom, could it be that you guys didn't sleep the whole night because of the candlelight talk? Su Yusin didn't want to be the bad guy. However, Old Masterly woke up early. Li Qianxue had been with Su Qing-sang for the whole night, but Old Masterly hadn't woken up yet. Old Masterly also missed his granddaughter. If he didn't know before, it would have been fine. Now that he knew, he wanted to make up for the past 20 years. Let your sister sleep. But Qinxue didn't want to wake her daughter up so early. They talked until late last night. Mom, I'm awake. Su Qingsang woke up while they were talking and sat up. She blinked sleepily. Her long hair was a little messy, and she habitually rubbed her eyes, looking like she wasn't fully awake. Li Qinshue's heart softened. She turned to look at her. Why don't you sleep a little longer? It's all Yusin's fault for waking you up. It's okay. I usually get up early. Su Qingsang was completely awake now. Mom, if you're sleepy, you can sleep a little longer. I'm not sleepy. Li Qinsue was also sleepy. She wanted to spend more time with her daughter, so how could she be sleepy? Su Yusin looked at the two of them, shook his head, and turned to go downstairs. Soon, Li Qinsue and Su Qingsang came downstairs. Su Qingsang was wearing the clothes that Li Qinsue had bought for her. That was originally prepared for Su Peijian. Now that Su Qingsang put it on, standing next to Li Qinsue, they looked like a pair of sisters. Su Yusin stood up. Old Master Li looked at the two people in front of him. He didn't find it strange at all. It was as if Su Qingsang was supposed to be in this house. Let's go and have breakfast first. The group moved to the dining room, and Old Master Li sat down. Li Qinsue and Su Qingsang sat on either side of him. Su Yusin sat on the other side of Su Qingsang. Breakfast was sumptuous. Yesterday, the servants at home had been instructed to prepare the dishes according to Su Qingsang's preferences. However, after so many years, he still didn't know what Su Qingsang liked to eat. He simply made a big table. Qingsang, what do you want to eat? Li Qinsue was there again. This time, she wanted to give all her motherly love to Su Qingsang. Mom, I'm really not a picky eater. Su Qingsang was afraid of her. If you do this, I won't dare to eat at home anymore. Then, Mom, it's fine as usual. Su Qingsang's words made Li Qinsue feel more at ease. The more Old Master Li looked at Su Qingsang, the more he liked her. She was not arrogant, not willful, and had a sense of propriety. She also knew when to advance and when to retreat. Qinsue, I want to hold a banquet. Halfway through the meal, Old Master Li suddenly put down his chopsticks. He looked at the other three people. We didn't know before, but now that we know, we naturally have to restore Su Qingsang's original identity. That's good. Li Qinsue fully supported it. Invite all the people in the business circle of Lin City. I want them to know who the young lady of the Su family is. There's no need for that, is there? Su Qingsang looked at the two people and looked a little uncomfortable. It's fine as it is now. There's no need for a banquet, right? Of course there is. And it's a big one. Old Master Li wanted to tell the world. I want to clear your name, and I've prepared a gift for you. Grandpa. Su Qingsang couldn't sit still anymore. She put down the chopsticks in her hand. Grandpa, Mom, I thank you. I understand how you feel. But there's one thing I have to say. She lowered her eyes and looked a little embarrassed. I'm very grateful that you're willing to acknowledge me. But I think we can forget about the banquet. My father. No matter what, he's still my father. It was indeed his fault for doing this back then. But now that the mistake has been made, the situation is already like this, then we can only face it. If you acknowledge me with great fanfare, I'll become the young lady of the Su family. Then what about Su Peijian? As soon as the name Su Peijian came out, the other three people were silent. Even if Su Peijian wasn't Li Qinshue's daughter, but for more than 20 years, she had grown up under their love. This matter was Su Qinghui's fault, and it had nothing to do with Su Peijian. But if Old Master Li acknowledged her with great fanfare, what would Su Chenghui do? Mom, I'm not soft-hearted, and I'm not a saint. It's enough for our own family to know about this. Most importantly, for Su Chenghui. No matter what, Su Chenghui was her father. He was her biological father. Although she also felt that what Su Chenghui had done was too much. But blood ties couldn't be cut. She couldn't destroy Su Chenghui just because Su Chenghui had replaced her and changed her identity. If people knew that Su Chenghui had planned such a vicious plot many years ago, how could Su Chenghui gain a foothold in Lin City in the future? Now Old Master Li wanted to kick him out, and Li Qinsue wanted to divorce him. Su Yusin blamed Su Chenghui, and Xiang Kaiping hated him. When Su Peijian found out, she would probably blame Su Chenghui. Su Chenghui, who had been betrayed by his family, would have to face the strange eyes of those people in Lin City. Su Qingsang couldn't bear to think about it. What happened had already happened. There was no point in looking into it again. She didn't want to ruin the last bit of Su Qinghui's reputation. After his divorce with Li Qianxue, his reputation would be affected. That could be considered a punishment, right? But Li Qianxue looked at Su Qingsang's face and only felt anxious. But if that's the case, it's too unfair for you. It's not unfair. Su Qingsang blinked. Mom, if you really think I'm unfair, then be nice to me in the future. Li Qianxue didn't speak. She felt sad. This was her daughter. She couldn't even tell others that this was her daughter. Then, even if you don't want us to hold a banquet, at least let me ask our family to come over for a meal. Let's get to know each other. Su Qingsang couldn't refuse this request. She nodded. Okay, then it's just a meal. There's no need to pick a time. Let's do it tomorrow. Old Master Li waved his hand. Tomorrow is not the Lantern Festival. Let them come together for the festival and get to know each other. Su Qingsang didn't object this time. She couldn't object. Mom, if our relatives and friends come over tomorrow, we can just say that we gave birth to a child in the same hospital that was accidentally switched. Su Yusin suddenly spoke, which made Su Qingsang look at him. She had forgotten before that there could be such a story. However, she quickly realized that those who could survive in the business world of Lin City were all shrewd people. Even if this story was tenable for a while, unless Li Qianxue could maintain the original husband and wife relationship with Su Chenghui. Otherwise, Li Qianxue would insist on divorcing Su Chenghui as soon as she found out that the baby had been switched. No matter how she looked at it, this matter seemed to be a conspiracy. Old Master Li was angry when he talked about this matter. We have to say this, and they have to be willing to believe it. Whether they believe it or not is their business. Whether they say it or not is our business. No matter what, we can still show our attitude. Like Su Qingsang, Su Yusin didn't want Su Chenghui to end up too badly. No matter what, he was still their father. Li Qianxue's face was cold, and she didn't speak. She was not only disappointed in Su Chenghui now. There was resentment, hatred, pain, and regret. After dinner, I will contact Lawyer Chen. Li Qianxue looked at Su Yusin as she spoke. Yusin, you are not 18 yet, but you will be soon. Qingsang is already an adult, and your future life has nothing to do with your father. I want to divorce him. Old Master Li had no objection. Don't give him a cent of the company's shares. I want him to leave the family with nothing. Dad, this kind of thing goes without saying. I said it. I will give him what he wants. No matter what, he has worked hard for the Li Group to make a lot of money for the past 20 years. When Li Qianxue said this, there was obvious hatred in her eyes. Just think of it as spending money to buy out the past with him. Qianxue, that's it. Li Qianxue thought for a moment. I will call Lawyer Chen over later. Ask him to send the divorce agreement over today. Su Yusin and Su Qingsang looked at each other. They both knew that they were powerless to stop this matter. Mom. Su Qingsang's lips moved. She wanted to say something, but Li Qianxue seemed to be able to understand her thoughts. Qingsang, you don't have to persuade me about this matter. I have already decided. I have been let down by him all my life. I used to think that if I treated him well, he would understand it forever. Now it seems that it is impossible. Since you know that you are my daughter, you should know how vicious his intentions are. He wants to give the Li Group in the end. Li Qianxue couldn't continue. Anyway, don't persuade me. Su Qingsang nodded and didn't say anything else that would make Li Qianxue unhappy. Okay, I support you. Su Yusin was on the side, unable to stop his parents from divorcing. He could only be glad that they were all grown up now. Su Qingsang didn't expect Li Qianxue to act so quickly. Not long after dinner, she called Lawyer Chen over. Chapter 443. Mr. Chen was the exclusive lawyer of the Li Group. He never thought that one day he would receive such a request from his employer. GM Li, are you serious? Of course. Li Qianxue looked determined. If it wasn't because she had already gone through a night's buffer, she wouldn't have been able to remain so calm. Su Chenghui had been married to her for so many years, and he had a lot of property under his name. Those were his property to begin with. so Li Qianxue wouldn't care about them. As for the share that originally belonged to the Li group, she could also give it to Su Chenghui, depending on the situation. Su Chenghui had 10% of the company's shares, which had originally belonged to him. Although Li Qianxue was angry, she did not intend to take back the shares. But there was one thing: Su Chenghui has no right to sell or transfer the shares of the Li group. If you want to transfer or sell it, you can only sell it to Li Qianxue or the Su siblings. Li Qianxue didn't want Su Chenghui to give so many shares to Su Peijian in the future. She had raised Su Peijian for more than 20 years. In the future, she would give her the treatment she deserved. However, Su Peijian could forget about Li Group's shares. It had never belonged to her in the first place, and it would never be hers in the future. The rest was just a small problem. Li Qianxue was very detailed. Su Qingsang listened on the side and felt that although Su Chenghui had divorced Li Qianxue, as long as he didn't make too much trouble in the future, he wouldn't have a bad life. She looked up at Li Qianxue, even though Su Chenghui had done so many outrageous things. He was afraid that Li Qianxue still had feelings for him. Li Qianxue didn't care about her daughter's emotions. After saying all that she could give to Su Chenghui, Li Qianxue added, "I'll send it to him today. When the Civil Affairs Bureau starts working tomorrow, I'll go and settle the paperwork." She couldn't wait any longer. All right. Lawyer Chan was in a difficult position, but he still stood up and put away his notebook. Where is General Manager Su now? Just call him. Li Qianxue didn't care about Su Chenghui anymore. For her, Su Chenghui had become a person who had nothing to do with her. Whether he lived or died had nothing to do with her. When Lawyer Chen walked out, Hu Jinyao happened to come over. Hu Jinyao, why are you here? Su Qingsang stood up and walked to his side. She thought he'd returned to Rong City today. Our flight is in the afternoon, Hu Jinyao said, glancing at Su Qingsang with a meaningful look. Afternoon? What time is it? Around 3 o'clock. Hu Jinyao thought of the lie he told Xiang Kaiping yesterday. Xiang Kaiping didn't suspect anything yesterday, but she was a little worried when she didn't see Su Qingsang this morning. She kept asking Hu Jinyao why Su Qingsang wasn't back yet. I don't think you can hide it anymore. Hu Jinyao's voice was very soft. I'll try to get her on the plane this afternoon, but I can't guarantee that I'll be able to fool her. After all, Xiang Kaiping had been working hard in the outside world for so many years. She had good judgment. Unless you follow me back to Rong City, I'm afraid you won't be able to hide it. Su Qingsang looked a little conflicted. She turned around and saw that Li Qianxue and Su Yusin were standing behind them, obviously listening to her plan. You go back first. Su Qingsang thought about it for a long time and gave such an answer. Send her back to my apartment first, then let Xiao Yu and Xiao Ning stay to take care of her. Then I'll go over and explain to her tonight. Are you sure? Yes. Su Qingsang thought about it. No matter how good she was, she couldn't hide it forever. Li Qianxue was always careful when facing her, which made her feel bad. After thinking about it, she could only make it clear to Xiang Kaiping. Since she was destined to let one side down, she had to make a choice. Hu Jinyao clearly saw that Li Qianxue and Su Yusin were behind Su Qingsang. They were relieved because of her words. Do you need me to go with you? Hu Jinyao was still a little worried. No need. Su Qingsang shook her head. You've wasted enough time because of me. Go back to Rong City in the afternoon. Say hello to Grandpa for me, and say sorry to him that I can't go to celebrate the festival with him. Don't worry. I said it. Grandpa won't blame you. Hu Jinyao rubbed the top of her head affectionately. Su Qingsang wasn't sure if old Master Hu really wouldn't blame her. But at the moment, she really wanted to deal with these things in Lin City before she could go to Rong City. Hu Jinyao didn't leave until after lunch at the Su family. Before he left, he called Yang Wenchang and asked him to make arrangements for Xiang Kaiping. He went directly to the airport. Su Qingsang said she would drive him, but he refused. Hu Jinyao asked her to tell Xiang Kaiping that she and Su Peijian had been switched. Watching Hu Jinyao leave, Su Qingsang suddenly felt more like a student. How could it be so easy to tell Xiang Kaiping that she and Su Peijian had been switched? If Xiang Kaiping found out, she was afraid that she would go crazy. At a time like this, Su Chenghui should be the one to talk. However, Su Chenghui probably wasn't in the mood to face Yang Kaiping now. Su Chenghui sat in the office for the whole night. He didn't sleep, nor did he rest. After leaving the Su family yesterday, Su Chenghui suddenly found that he had nowhere to go. Of course, he had more than one house in Lin City, but those houses were cold and lifeless. He stayed there for the whole night, sitting in a daze. He didn't know where he could go. He didn't know who he could ask for help. There were so many names in his phone's contact list, but at this time, no one could help him, because none of them could solve his problem. His phone rang. Su Chenghui suddenly seemed to come back to his senses and picked it up. He thought it would be Li Qianxue or anyone else in the Su family. But on the other end of the phone, it was Lawyer Chun. Lawyer Chun asked him where he was. After learning that he was in the company, he asked him to wait for a few minutes and said that he would be there soon. Su Chenghui hung up the phone, looking a little confused. He didn't know why the lawyer was here. A possibility flashed through his mind. However, Su Chenghui refused to think about that possibility, refused to face it. But no matter how much he refused, what would come would still come. Lawyer Chen entered the door, sat down opposite him, and took out a divorce agreement from his bag. General Manager Su, I'm sorry. I was wronged by Mr. Li. I came to give you the divorce agreement. Do you want to take a look? Divorce agreement? Su Chenghui felt as if his heart had been punched so hard that he couldn't straighten his back. Chapter 444. Su Chenghui stared blankly at the divorce agreement. He didn't even look at its contents. He raised his head slightly and looked at Lawyer Chen. She asked you to send it over? Mr. Chun was the lawyer of the Li Group. He had a good relationship with Li Qianxue and Su Chenghui. Meeting Su Chenghui's eyes, he felt very uncomfortable. Yes, just send this over. Su Chenghui didn't even look at the agreement. He stared at Lawyer Chun and insisted on an answer. President Li said that if it's possible, General Manager Su, please sign it as soon as possible, because she wants to get the paperwork done quickly. Her words undoubtedly stabbed Su Chenghui in the heart again. He closed his eyes, unwilling to face this fact, even if he already knew it. I won't sign it. President Su this, I won't sign it. If you want me to sign, let her talk to me herself. Lawyer Chen looked troubled. Mr. Su, please don't make things difficult for me. I'm not trying to make things difficult for you. I'm just telling you, if she wants me to sign, I won't sign it unless she comes herself. Su Chenghui didn't know what he was obsessed with, but he knew very well that he didn't want to let it go like this. He couldn't just let it go like this. Lawyer Chen looked at Su Chenghui. He had no idea how things had turned out this way. In fact, as a lawyer of the Li Group, he knew more than the average person. Su Chenghui and Li Qianxue were not as harmonious as they appeared on the surface. But no matter how bad their relationship was, the two of them had been together for more than 20 years. Speaking of which, the two of them were both good to the outside world and the inside world. Their teamwork was pretty good. How many rich couples had deep feelings for each other? But he didn't expect that after a year. He didn't know how it ended up like this. Sighing, Lawyer Chen also knew that there was no room for negotiation. After all, Li Qianxue's attitude yesterday was so firm. President Su, I'll leave the document here. I think you should take a look at it first before deciding whether to sign it or not. Su Chenghui didn't say anything. Lawyer Chen left the documents behind and left. Su Chenghui was the only one left in the office. He sat there for a long time without moving. When Su Qingsang parked the car in front of her apartment, she looked a little hesitant. Before she went out, Li Qianxue looked reluctant. He even wanted to follow her, but she rejected him. If Li Qianxue was here, things would get even more complicated. Li Qianxue finally let her go after she repeatedly promised that she would go home after she made it clear to Xiang Kaiping. Sitting in the car, Su Qingsang suddenly didn't dare to face Xiang Kaiping. She had known about it for a long time, but she had never told Xiang Kaiping. I wonder if she will blame me? Su Qingsang didn't know. After sitting in the car in a daze for a few minutes, she finally opened the door. When she got out of the car, there was a car parked right behind her. She stared blankly at the familiar license plate. When Su Chenghui got out of the car, Su Qingsang's eyes widened. Dad, why is he here? She was so surprised that she even forgot to close the car door. She stared blankly as Su Chenghui walked toward her step by step. When she got closer, she found that Su Chenghui looked very haggard. His chin was full of scum, and his eyes were bloodshot. "Dad!" Su Chenghui stood there and looked at Su Qingsang. This was his daughter. He closed his eyes, and his voice was a little weak. "Why are you here?" Su Qingsang thought for a moment and decided to tell the truth. "I came to explain to Andy about my identity." Hearing that, Su Chenghui couldn't help but look at her again. "You're going to explain?" Su Qingsang thought to herself. If she didn't explain, should she let Su Chenghui explain? "Dad, why are you here?" "I'll explain to her." Su Chenghui's voice sounded a little tired. He sat in his office for a long time. He found that he had done many things wrong. In the past, he could still find excuses and reasons for himself. But now, he couldn't even find an excuse for himself. He thought that what was wrong was wrong. Since it was already wrong, he would find a way to make up for it. The first thing was to get everything back on track. Su Qingsang widened her eyes and looked at Su Chenghui in disbelief. Was he serious? "Go back. I'll go upstairs and talk to her." Su Qingsang stood there and thought for a moment. She shook her head and said, "No need. I'll go with you." After all, she had been with Xiang Kaiping for a few months. If Xiang Kaiping was really annoyed or angry later, she might be able to talk to her. Xiang Kaiping didn't expect to see Su Qingsang and Su Chenghui at the same time. In fact, when Su Qingsang didn't come back yesterday, and Hu Jinyao sent her back to her apartment this morning, she had a vague feeling that something was wrong. She thought about calling Su Qingsang. However, Hu Jinyao said that she had something to do, so she wanted to wait for her. However, she didn't expect to see Su Qingsang and Su Chenghui at the same time. That surprised her a little. She wanted to drive Su Chenghui out, but she gave up when she saw Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang saw Xiang Kaiping with mixed feelings and called her mother softly. "Qingsang, you're back. Has the matter at the hospital been resolved?" Yes." Su Qingsang nodded, looked at Xiao Yu and Xiao Ning, and said, "Are the dishes ready for dinner?" Xiao Yu and Xiao Ning, "Why don't you go buy some vegetables?" Xiao Yu and Xiao Ning looked at each other and stood up at the same time. "Okay, let's go now." The two of them left. The living room suddenly became quiet. Su Chenghui, who had been standing at the door, took a step inside. "Qingsang, didn't you say that you were going to Rong City for the festival? You're back so late today." "Are you still going to Rong City?" "I'm not in a hurry, but I'm afraid that Hu Jinyao's family will have a problem with you. I have something to do at the moment, so I can't go." When Su Qingsang saw the concern in Xiang Caiping's eyes, she couldn't say a word. "Let me say it." Su Chenghui walked to Xiang Kaiping in 2 steps. When he saw the disgust in her eyes, his heart didn't fluctuate at all. "What do you want to say?" Xiang Kaiping stared at Su Chenghui warily. "Make it short." She was annoyed and didn't want to see Su Chenghui, which made Su Qingsang a little uncomfortable. She glanced at Su Chenghui and said, "Dad, sit down and talk. I'll go to the kitchen and get you some water." She turned into the kitchen and poured 2 glasses of water. When she came out, Su Chenghui had already sat down on the sofa opposite Xiang Kaiping. "Kaiping, what I'm going to say next might make you angry, or you might hate me. But I want you to calm down and listen to me, since you know that I'll be angry after hearing it. Then don't say it." Xiang Kaiping said coldly, her face full of mockery. Su Chenghui didn't care. Seeing Su Qingsang walk to him, he took the glass from her hand. The warm water calmed him down. He stared at the glass in his hand, not looking at Xiang Kaiping. 25 years ago, you gave birth to our child in the hospital. At that time, you were still angry with me. So you threw the child to me and asked me to take care of it." Su Chenghui's voice was calm, as if he was talking about someone else's business. Xiang Kaiping instinctively felt that something bad was going to happen. She gripped the armrest of the wheelchair tightly and stared at Su Chenghui warily. "What are you trying to say?" Su Qingsang closed her eyes as if she had gone back to more than 20 years ago, back to the days when she was obsessed with him. "In order to take revenge on Li Qianxue, I took her child and our child. Later, I couldn't bear it, so I took the child back." But Xiang Kaiping widened her eyes and looked at Su Chenghui in disbelief. He kept his head down and stared at the glass of water in front of him. That's what happened. I took your and Li Qianxue's child. Su Qingsang is Li Qianxue's daughter. Su Peijian is our child. Su Qingsang already knew that, but hearing Su Chenghui say it out loud, she still felt quite complicated. She looked at Xiang Kaiping with a worried face, worried that she couldn't take it. Xiang Kaiping sat there in a daze. She didn't speak, nor did she move. If she made a fuss, Su Qingsang could still think of a way to comfort her. But Xiang Kaiping was like this, and she didn't even know how to comfort her. The word mother went through her heart, but she didn't say it out loud. She handed the glass of water to Xiang Kaiping, trying to comfort her in this way. Xiang Kaiping looked at the glass of water, then looked at Su Qingsang's face. You already knew, didn't you? Su Qingsang met Xiang Caiping's eyes and didn't know what to say. Xiang Kaiping suddenly grabbed her wrist. Su Qingsang was caught off guard, and some water spilled out of her hand. No one had time to care about that. Xiang Kaiping stared at her face and said word by word, You already knew, didn't you? Yes. Su Qingsang nodded. I knew before the Lunar New Year. You knew before the Lunar New Year? Xiang Kaiping tightened her grip and looked at Su Qingsang. Her tone was colder than before. You knew before the Lunar New Year? Su Qingsang couldn't bear to see her agitated face, but she had to say what she wanted to say. That time, you were injured and hospitalized. I knew. You were type O, but I was type AB. She didn't say the rest, but Xiang Kaiping understood what she meant. At that time, Su Qingsang knew that Xiang Kaiping wasn't her daughter. You didn't tell me? Why didn't you tell me? Xiang Caiping's voice was several degrees higher than before. She stared at Su Qingsang, unable to believe that she wasn't her daughter. How could this be? How could this be? Su Qingsang couldn't say it out loud. I'm sorry. At that time, I only knew that I wasn't your child, but I didn't know whose child I was. I used to think that I was born from my father and a woman outside. Chapter 445. There was still some time before Su Qingsang found out that she was not Xiang Caiping's daughter. How could Xiang Kaiping accept this news so easily? She looked at Su Qingsang and felt that she had been betrayed by the whole world. Su Chenghui had betrayed her, and now Su Qingsang had betrayed her as well. Xiang Kaiping couldn't accept it. She stared at Su Qingsang's hand and insisted on an answer. Why didn't you tell me? Tell me. Tell me. Su Qingsang looked at Xiang Caiping's hand. Her voice was very soft. I'm sorry. I actually wanted to tell you. But you were injured at that time, and you couldn't take the stimulation. Another reason was that I didn't know whose daughter I was. I don't know where your daughter is. I asked my dad, but he wouldn't tell me. I kept guessing, but I couldn't figure it out. Later on, I felt that it didn't matter whose daughter I was. Why don't I recognize you? It's good that we can depend on each other like this from now on. During that time, Su Qingsang really regarded Xiang Kaiping as her mother. She really wanted to spend the rest of her life with Xiang Kaiping. Mom. In fact, it was obviously not appropriate to call her mom at this time. But Su Qingsang couldn't change the way she addressed her. She squatted down in front of Xiang Kaiping to look her in the eye. I'm sorry. I really didn't know before. I'm really grateful to you from the bottom of my heart, and I really see you as my mother. Xiang Kaiping looked at Su Qingsang. There was a ball of fire in her heart. That ball of fire kept burning in her heart, giving her the urge to burn everything down. Then how do you know now? Didn't you say he wouldn't tell you? As she spoke, she glared at Su Chenghui. That gaze seemed to be able to pierce through him. Su Qingsang suddenly fell silent. She didn't know what to say. In fact, Hua Jinyao guessed it. So, she went to do a paternity test. Now that things had come to this, it was meaningless to talk about how they discovered it. The damage was done. I told her. Su Chenghui's voice sounded a little abrupt. He looked at Xiang Kaiping, not avoiding her gaze. Kaiping, I said it. These things were also done by me. Don't look at Qingsang. In fact, she never wanted to hurt you. You can see it from her decision to go to Rong City with you. She has really decided to live with you. Kaiping, I know this may be hard for you, but that was the truth. Qingsang is not your daughter. Peijian is. Sorry. Xiang Kaiping finally let go of Su Qingsang's hand and turned to face Su Chenghui. His sharp gaze was filled with monstrous hatred. After I come back, you'll know that I've acknowledged Qing Sang, right? Xiang Caiping's voice was sharp, and her tone was rather blunt. You came to me again and again just to tell me this? Yes. Su Chenghui nodded and faced Caiping's anger. You had many opportunities to tell me, but you didn't tell me even once, right? Yes. Su Chenghui didn't deny it. At that time, I couldn't open my mouth at first, but later it became more and more difficult for me to say it. For revenge, you gave my daughter to the woman I hate the most to raise, right? Su Chenghui closed his eyes. He couldn't argue. He had nothing to say. Xiang Caiping suddenly reached out, snatched the cup from Su Qingsang's hand, and threw it in Su Chenghui's direction. Su Chenghui didn't dodge. The cup hit his chest heavily, then fell to the ground and shattered. Su Qingsang wanted to stop him, but it was too late. Seeing Su Chenghui hit the cup, the water inside spilled out, soaking most of his clothes. For some reason, she couldn't bear it. Her lips moved, wanting to say something, but she couldn't say a word. Su Chenghui, why didn't you go to hell? Xiang Caiping was really angry. Her chest rose and fell violently, and the expression on her face was no longer as calm as before. It was ferocious and angry. Why did you give my child to someone else to raise? Why did you change my child's life? What did you tell me when you took my daughter away? You said that you would take good care of your daughter, and you said that you would give her the best. So this is what you meant by the best of everything? Su Chenghui couldn't refute that. Under those circumstances, he had indeed decided to give the lead group to Su Peijian. That was the best he could give her. Su Chenghui, why do you have to make decisions for my daughter? Xiang Caiping was really angry. She was angry, hurt, and regretful. This feeling was even more regretful than when she found out that Su Chenghui ignored Su Qingsang and didn't take good care of her daughter. Do you think that I will thank you for turning my daughter into the Su family's young miss? Do you think I will forgive you because you made my daughter the granddaughter of the Li family? In your dreams, let me tell you I won't. I won't forgive you. You made my daughter recognize the woman I hate the most as her mother. Do you think you are doing this for her good? Do you think you are doing this for her good by giving her property and money? Su Chenghui, you don't understand love at all. You don't understand anything at all. Let me tell you, don't think I will forgive you. Impossible. Xiang Caiping pointed at Su Chenghui. She was so angry that she couldn't face him calmly. I won't. Su Chenghui, I won't be grateful to you. I won't forgive you. I will only hate you. Su Chenghui's face was pale. He looked even more haggard than before. Caiping, I really did it on impulse. I already regret it. I also know that you will blame me and hate me. But I really did it for the sake of our daughter. For the sake of our daughter? Why don't you say that you did it for yourself? Xiang Caiping unceremoniously exposed his lie. You just wanted to take revenge on Li Qianxue. But you couldn't find a way. You couldn't deal with her, so you came up with such a vicious idea. You didn't do it to give your daughter everything you think is best, as you said. You just wanted to satisfy your own ridiculous desire for revenge. Xiang Caiping said all this in one breath. In the end, she felt as if all the energy in her body had been sucked out. She lowered her head and glanced at the broken pieces on the floor. There were many voices in her heart, many words. In the end, they all turned into one sentence. Su Chenghui, I am really disappointed in you. She still remembered the young man from before. He was high-spirited and full of ambition. He said that he wanted to make a lot of money and give her a good life. At that time, she was innocent and naive, and she believed his words. Would it go wrong? That young man grew up and became a successful businessman. After her outburst, Xiang Caiping was left with only a blank look. She hated not only Su Chenghui but also herself at this time. She shouldn't have come back, and she shouldn't have appeared. She shouldn't have come to claim her daughter. That way, she wouldn't have known that Su Chenghui had swapped her daughter. She wouldn't have known that Su Chenghui had become such a person. That way, she would still be able to keep a beautiful image in her heart, imagining that her daughter was living a happy life, not like this. Yes, even if Su Peijian became the eldest daughter of the Su family, Xiang Caiping wouldn't be happy. Su Chenghui had been criticized by Xiang Kaiping so many times, but it didn't hurt as much as this sentence. Xiang Kaiping was disappointed in him. He knew that what he had done was indeed very disappointing. But now, the person who was disappointed was Xiang Kaiping. Ever since he was young, he had treated her like his own sister. She was like a close relative to him. Now she said that she was disappointed in him. Su Chenghui didn't know what else he could say. He just sat there in a daze and didn't move. Go. Xiang Kaiping closed her eyes and didn't look at Su Chenghui. She turned her face away, not wanting to look at Su Chenghui anymore. Su Chenghui sat there motionlessly, looking at Xiang Kaiping with a complicated look in his eyes. Get out. Xiang Kaiping pointed in the direction of the door. Get out of here. I don't want to see you. Seeing that Su Chenghui was still standing there, she suddenly got angry. She couldn't care less about her waist that had just recovered. She stood up and quickly rushed to Su Chenghui to pull his arm. Get out. Get out of here. If you don't leave, I won't be polite. I won't be polite to you. Su Chenghui was pulled to his feet by her. Looking at Xiang Kaiping, who was full of anger and had completely lost her cool, he stood up. Kaiping, I'm sorry. Get out. Xiang Kaiping pulled his arm and pushed him out of the door. Kaiping, get out. Xiang Kaiping became agitated again because of his presence. Seeing this, Su Qingsang took 2 steps forward. Dad, you should leave first. Xiang Kaiping was so agitated at this moment. It was obviously not a good time to talk. Su Chenghui looked at Su Qingsang. He didn't just feel sorry for Li Qianxue, Xiang Kaiping, and Su Qingsang. Qingsang, you should leave. Su Qingsang gave him a look. Hurry up. His presence here would only make things worse. Su Chenghui actually knew this. He took a step back, looked at Xiang Kaiping, and then looked at Su Qingsang. Qingsang, I'm sorry. This was what he owed Su Qingsang. He wouldn't run away because of this. Su Qingsang was stunned for a moment. She was very surprised to hear this word from her father's mouth. Xiang Kaiping glanced at Su Qingsang and wanted to tell her to leave too. But at this moment, she suddenly remembered that this was Su Qingsang's home. This realization made her angry. She snorted and pushed Su Chenghui away. At the same time, she didn't forget to close the door. Turning around, she saw Su Qingsang standing there. She was looking at Su Qingsang, and Su Qingsang was also looking at her. Their eyes met. The mother and daughter, who used to be intimate, didn't say a word at this moment. Su Qingsang really didn't know what else she could say. She felt that whatever she said would be wrong, and the more she said, the more wrong it would be. Xiang Kaiping stared at her face. After spending a few months with Su Qingsang, she had a certain understanding of her. Chapter 446. You've already acknowledged her. Am I right? Xiang Kaiping looked at Su Qingsang, stubbornly demanding an answer. Su Qingsang couldn't argue back, so she chose to remain silent. Right now, he was in a dilemma. He could neither advance nor retreat. You said you were going to the hospital yesterday, but you were actually going to see Li Qianxue, right? The anger on Xiang Kaiping's face became more and more obvious. Rationally, he knew that it was normal for Su Qingsang to recognize Li Qianxue. However, he found it hard to accept. She couldn't accept Su Peijian as her daughter. She almost got herself killed. She couldn't accept that Su Qingsang was Li Qianxue's daughter. Su Qingsang was obviously much better than Su Peijian. That was right. That was why she hated Su Chenghui the most. If he hadn't swapped the 2 children, Su Peijian would have been an illegitimate daughter. Then, Su Peijian would be like Su Qingsang, sensible, obedient, and completely in line with the daughter in her heart. Not an arrogant, willful, selfish, and mean personality. That was not how she wanted to see her daughter. Su Chenghui had ruined all of that. Destroyed. Su Qingsang looked into Xiang Kaiping's eyes and couldn't say no. Her silence was the best proof. Xiang Kaiping looked at her and nodded repeatedly. All right, that's nice. That was great. Since you've already acknowledged her, why are you still calling me mother? Huh? Why are you still calling me mom? Xiang Kaiping was very emotional. She couldn't control the anger in her heart at all, and she couldn't suppress the rolling emotions in her heart. She had only interacted with Su Peijian a few times, and she had always felt that Su Peijian was too evil. She couldn't accept that such a girl was her daughter. Looking at Su Qingsang, Xiang Kaiping felt betrayed. It was a deep betrayal. Not only had Su Qingwei betrayed her, but so had Su Qingsang. Strictly speaking, this had nothing to do with Su Qingsang, nor was it her fault. However, Xiang Kaiping couldn't help but vent her anger. The huge anger made her speak incoherently. You've already acknowledged Li Qianxue. Why are you still calling me Mom? Could it be that in your heart, you want to please both sides? She nodded, looked at Su Qingsang's pale face, and said in a heavy voice, That's true. What kind of person was Li Qianxue? She was the eldest daughter of the Li family. The Li group would be hers in the future. If you acknowledge her, there will definitely be endless benefits. How can you not rush to acknowledge her? What am I? Just a pitiful one. An old woman with no power or influence. I can't give you anything. That's why you couldn't wait to find your mother, right? These words were very unpleasant to hear. Su Qingsang's face turned pale. Her lips twitched. She didn't know how things had turned out this way. Mom, don't do this. Don't call me Mom. I'm not your mother. Xiang Kaiping was in so much pain that she needed to pass it on. Your mother is Li Qianxue, not me. Su Qingsang fell silent. Her expression was full of helplessness, but in Xiang Caiping's eyes, it became her grievance. Do you feel wronged? You feel wronged? Why didn't you tell me from the beginning? Why did you wait so long to tell me? Su Qingsang, what do you mean? Tell me. Su Qingsang closed her eyes. She had nothing to say about Xiang Caiping's accusations. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear you say you're sorry. Xiang Kaiping was also angry. Go away. Go to your mother's place. Go to your real mother's place. I don't need you here. Su Qingsang's mouth moved, but in the end, she didn't call her mother. She let out a long sigh in her heart. There were some things that she knew what the outcome would be. But when it really happened, she was the one who was powerless to change it. Just like now, she didn't want to hurt anyone. But in the end, she still hurt someone. Auntie. Su Qingsang thought about how to phrase it in her heart. There were some things that she still had to make clear. I really didn't think about this matter properly. I apologize to you, but there are some things that I still want to explain to you. When I found out that you weren't my mother, it happened to be when you were injured. If it weren't for your blood transfusion, I wouldn't have known that you weren't my mother. In fact, I really wanted to make the best of the mistake and recognize you as my mother. I was also prepared to bring you to live with me in Rong City. But my mother, Li Qianxue, is actually also a pitiful person. I don't care about the grudge between you two back then. I don't care about the relationship between her and my father, or between you and my father. But in this matter, she is innocent. Although I've acknowledged her in my heart, I still respect you from the bottom of my heart. I know that you might have some feelings for Su Peijian before, but after so many years, whether it's old Master Li or my mother, they all treat Su Peijian with sincerity. I know that you won't forgive my father. I also know that you may not forgive me or my mother. But there is one thing that I don't want you to misunderstand. That is, my mother has truly loved Su Peijian for so many years. After saying this, Su Qingsang looked at Xiang Kaiping. Xiang Kaiping was silent and didn't respond to her. Su Qingsang was helpless. She knew that there were some things that couldn't go back. She wanted to say a few more words, but Little Yu and Little Yu had already returned. The two of them looked at the situation in front of them and were a little confused. Auntie, you are in a bad mood now. If you don't want to see me, I won't come in front of you to attract your attention. Little Yu, you two take good care of Auntie. Little Yu and Little Yu looked at each other and finally looked at each other. They didn't quite understand why Su Qingsang had changed the way she addressed her. However, no one spoke at this time. The two of them nodded in unison. Su Qingsang glanced at Xiang Kaiping again and found that she still didn't look at her. She felt a little helpless and finally turned to leave. After she left, Xiang Caiping's body softened and she almost fell to the ground. Little Yu and Little Ning panicked and quickly went forward to help her up. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Xiang Kaiping waved her hand and sat down on the sofa, gesturing for them to leave. You guys go do your own things. I want to be alone for a while. Little Yu and Little Ning looked at each other and finally went to the kitchen together. Xiang Kaiping lowered her head and covered her face with her hands. No one could see her expression at this time. However, tears fell from between her fingers. The tears fell to the ground and splashed into small water droplets. Su Qingsang walked out of the house, still feeling suffocated. Just as she was about to go to her car, she saw Su Changhui still standing downstairs. Seeing him, Su Qingsang really couldn't calm down. "Dad, why are you still here?" In this situation, she was afraid that Xiang Kaiping wouldn't want to see her. "I was waiting for you." Su Changhui looked upstairs as he spoke, then returned his gaze to Su Qingsang. "Are you all right? Would it be wrong with me?" Su Qingsang asked. "Shouldn't you be asking about Auntie now?" Su Qinghui's expression was a little ugly. His lips moved. "Qingsang, are you blaming me too? Is it useful for me to blame you?" Su Qingsang turned her face and looked at him very seriously. "If I blame you, can you ease the pain of Auntie and my mother? If you can, then I really blame you." Su Qinghui's face turned a little pale because of her words, making his already haggard face look even worse now. Su Qingsang looked at him and couldn't bear to see him like this. She closed her eyes and said very softly, "Dad, some things have happened, and they have already happened. You have already done it, and you have already done it wrong. Then don't think about how uncomfortable you are and how much you regret it. At this time, shouldn't you be thinking about how to make up for it? Make up for it, shouldn't I?" Su Qingsang didn't believe that at this time. Su Changhui still didn't know where he was wrong. "My mother raised someone else's daughter for more than 20 years for you. Is she wrong? Annie mistakenly recognized someone else's daughter for you. Is she wrong? Well, you did. You did it on impulse, but you did it. Then what about the people you hurt? Shouldn't you show your attitude and make up for those you hurt?" Su Changhui looked at this daughter in a daze. At this moment, it was as if he had met Su Qingsang for the first time. "As for yourself," Su Qingsang bit her lip. This was actually not suitable for her to say, but she had to say it. "Dad, do you really know who you love? Do you really know who is the most important person to you?" Su Changhui thought about her words and couldn't come back to his senses. Seeing that he still hadn't come back to his senses, Su Qingsang sighed again in her heart. "Dad, I just want to ask you something. Who do you love? Do you love my mother? Or do you love Annie?" Su Changhui stared at his daughter. At this moment, he didn't know how to answer. "If you love my mother, then how can you have the heart to replace her child and let her raise someone else's child for more than 20 years? If you love Annie, how can you have the heart to let her daughter call someone else mom? When she grows up, you won't recognize her when you meet her." Su Qinghui's expression was really ugly. In this short period of time, the repeated blows had long made him lose his initial gentleness and elegance. Su Qingsang couldn't bear it, but she still had to say what should be said. "You have lived for more than half of your life. Do you really not know, or do you not want to face it? I'll put it this way. My mother wants to divorce you now. Don't you feel anything at all? Have you ever thought that one wrong move of yours will make you lose my mother forever?" Su Qinghui's body felt as if it had been struck by lightning, and he suddenly took a big step back. "Or do you not care at all because the person you love is Auntie?" Chapter 447. After saying that, Su Qingsang turned around and got into her car without looking at him. However, Su Qingsang's mood had not completely calmed down until she got into the car. She was once a pure, illegitimate daughter who didn't know her own background. That kind of background was not necessarily very glorious, but she lived a very peaceful life. But now, her identity had changed, and her calmness was gone. Tomorrow was the Lantern Festival, and Old Master Li would call all the relatives of the Li family over. At that time, she would have a new situation to deal with. There was also the Hua family. She actually felt that it was inappropriate for her not to go home with Hua Jinyao this time. However, she couldn't leave it all because of the matter in Lin City. She suddenly missed the days when she was in medical school. Back then, all she had to do was go to school and do research. Everything was so pure and simple. But now, after sitting in the car for a long time and driving for a long time, he still felt uncomfortable. In the end, she took out her phone and called Hua Jinyao. Jin Yao. As soon as the call was connected, Su Qingsang couldn't wait to call out Hua Jin Yao's name. Yo, isn't this my elusive sister-in-law? TSK. What? Why are you looking for my brother? She didn't expect Hua Manzi to answer the phone. Where's your brother? She calculated the time. Hua Jinyao had flown to Rong City and returned to the Hua family's mansion. He had already arrived and rested for a while. As soon as I came back, I was called over by my grandfather for a lecture. Sister-in-law, do you want to know what my grandfather would say to my brother? Judging from Hua Manzi's tone, it was definitely not a good thing. Since he's busy, I'll call him after he's done. My brother won't be finished in a short time. Speaking of which, isn't it your fault? My brother marrying you is like marrying an ancestor. Not only did you refuse to follow my brother to Rome City, but you also want my brother to follow you to Lin City to further his career. Forget about all that. It's the new year, and you're his granddaughter-in-law. Why don't you show your face? Speaking of which, my uncle and Annie really have good self-restraint. If it was another family, I'm afraid he won't be so easy to talk to. Hua Manzi's words were full of sarcasm. Su Qingsang felt very uncomfortable and was about to hang up the phone. Hua Jinyao's voice came from the other end of the line. What nonsense are you talking about? Hua Jinyao went upstairs and found that he had accidentally dropped his phone on the sofa. He didn't expect Hua Manzi to pick up his call in such a short time. Hua Manzi's expression was a little ugly. She just so happened to be sitting there. Unexpectedly, Hua Jinyao caught her red-handed. Hua Jinyao took the phone and glanced at her coldly. Only then did he go upstairs. Qingsang, how can you say that you're fine? Su Qingsang was really a little nervous now. Grandpa is angry. I told you it's okay. Hua Jinyao walked to the end of the corridor on the second floor, where there was a study that belonged to him. After entering the door and isolating the noise from the outside, his voice became gentler. Don't worry. Manzi was spouting nonsense. Ignore her. He said that, but how could Su Qingsang believe him? She thought that after tomorrow, she might as well go back to Rong City. However, she was afraid that Li Qianxue would overthink again. Thinking of this, Su Qingsang felt a headache. Don't worry about Manzi. Tell me, why did you call me? Su Qingsang blinked and thought of what had happened that day. She sighed and told Hua Jinyao about it. Hua Jinyao, do you think I did something wrong? What does this have to do with you? No. In fact, Su Qingsang really couldn't get over it. I shouldn't have been so curious in the first place. If I had kept pretending that I didn't know anything, I wouldn't have been so curious. I will really treat Xiang Kaiping as my mother. Actually, there was nothing bad about it. Isn't it? It's unfair to your mother if you think like that. Hua Jinyao understood that she was being stubborn. She couldn't accept the fact that Xiang Kaiping had spoken ill of her. Have you ever thought that you could pretend that you don't know anything? What about your dad? He has made up his mind to take revenge on your mother. Have you ever thought about it? If you want to pretend for the rest of your life, what if your dad doesn't agree? By the time your mother is in her 70s or 80s, she won't have the ability anymore. Say it again. When the time comes, your mother won't know where her daughter is for the rest of her life. Worst comes to worst, she might be angered by your father, and something bad might happen to her. Hua Jinyao didn't finish his sentence, but Su Qingsang understood. There were some things that she couldn't do as she pleased. If Li Qianxue didn't know about it, she could live happily. But if the day that Hua Jinyao said really came to pass, wouldn't that be even more miserable? Thank you, Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang finally came back to her senses. She smiled bitterly and said, I was thinking too much. I think Xiang Kaiping hasn't recovered yet. When she recovers, I think she might go to Su Peijian. As for your mother, don't think about anything else now. Just stay with her for a few days. Okay. Su Qingsang nodded and didn't object. Hua Jinyao thought for a moment and said, By the way, I've already told Chang Xianyan. When you come, go directly to the hospital under his name. It's a private hospital. The fees are high, and the doctor's salaries are high. You won't be so tired. Su Qingsang was about to say yes, but then she remembered what Zhang Qiubai had said on the phone. But my teacher heard that I'm going to Rong City. He wrote a letter of recommendation for me. He recommended that I go to Rong City Hospital. Private hospitals were good, but there were more patients in public hospitals, and they could make better use of their skills and research. Okay, it's up to you. Hu Jiniao wouldn't interfere in Su Qingsang's affairs in this aspect. You decide. Su Qingsang nodded. Hu Jiniao never interfered in this aspect, which made her very grateful. After chatting with Hu Jiniao for a while, Su Qingsang was in a better mood. After hanging up, her body relaxed a little. Looking at the neon lights on the road in front of her, she murmured softly, Hu Jiniao, I miss you. Su Qingsang's mood was much better, but Su Qinghui's mood fell to the bottom. He staggered into his car, and Su Qingsang's words kept flashing in his mind. In fact, old Master Li had said those words to him before, but at that time, he didn't take them to heart at all. In his opinion, he had already been so successful. There was nothing to lose. He felt that everything was under his control, and he wouldn't let himself lose anything that he cared about, whether it was people or things. But now, he was full of uncertainty. Su Qingsang's words, Li Qinshua's words, and old Master Li's words. Even what Hu Jiniao had said before. Every sentence turned into a ripple that kept reverberating. Wave after wave surged towards him, almost drowning him. Many memories flashed through his mind bit by bit. From the first time he got along with Xiang Kaiping, to the chance encounter with Li Qianxue at the company. How did he get involved with Li Qianxue? Su Qinghui thought that he didn't remember. But in fact, he remembered it quite clearly. That year, he had just jumped from a company to Li Corporation. Originally, his dream was to enter the world's top 500 companies. He thought about how to succeed quickly, to become a superior person. In fact, at first, he only wanted to use Li Corporation as a stepping stone. But to his surprise, he met Old Master Li. Old Master Li was very resourceful in the business world back then, and his business philosophy was quite compatible with Su Qinghui's. Because he met Old Master Li by chance. So he entered Li Corporation. Originally, he only wanted to use Li Corporation as a stepping stone, but because Li Corporation felt that it was a good opportunity for him to show off his abilities. At that time, Su Chonghui had an extraordinary enthusiasm and devotion to work. At the same time, his relationship with Xiang Kaiping was almost settled by his mother. Su Qinghui's family used to live next to Xiang Caiping's family. He was 2 years older than Xiang Kaiping. At that time, both of their parents were both working, and they had no time to take care of them when they were busy. Xiang Caiping's mother was a nurse, and she was even busier than Su Qinghui's parents. Therefore, Su Qinghui's parents would bring Xiang Kaiping over to play when they had nothing to do. Later, an accident happened. Xiang Caiping's father passed away, and her mother became even busier. Without her parents to take care of her, Xiang Kaiping lived like an orphan. Because of this, Su Qinghui's mother would bring her over to play when she had nothing to do. She gradually became a child of Su Qinghui's family. When she had nothing to do, she would eat and do her homework at the Su family. She even had a special room in the Su family for her to rest. Su Chonghui was reminded by his parents every day to take good care of his sister. He did the same. It was not a difficult thing to take care of his sister. They were childhood sweethearts. When they grew up, they naturally developed into a couple. Then, when they grew up, they got married and had children. Su Chonghui pitied Xiang Kaiping. He regarded her as a little sister of his. He had been given the responsibility of taking care of her since she was young. Su Chonghui had no objection to marrying Xiang Kaiping. It had become a habit for him to take care of Xiang Kaiping. It didn't matter if he took care of her for the rest of his life. The two of them had a verbal engagement, and they also set the date of their engagement and marriage. It was also at that time that he met Li Qianxue. She and Xiang Kaiping were completely different types of people. She was flamboyant, bright, and domineering. The first time they met, she pointed at his plan, questioned him, and he retorted very rudely. He didn't think there was a problem with his plan. Li Qianxue was clearly deliberately making things difficult for him. However, he also didn't know that his retorts and his rudeness became special in Li Qianxue's eyes. After all, at that time, who in the Li Corporation didn't look at Li Qianxue's eyes? Li Qianxue took a fancy to Su Chonghui. After going against each other again and again, she became more and more certain of her feelings. She liked Su Chenghui, and she thought that she had to get him. However, Li Qinxue was actually a little arrogant. When she found out that Su Chenghui had a childhood sweetheart, it wasn't that she didn't think of giving up. However, later on, the two of them competed for a client together. At that time, the Li Corporation wasn't like it was now, where everyone was eager to cooperate. That client was very difficult to deal with. The two of them went to several times separately, but they couldn't get the client. In the end, Li Qinxue decided to go together. Sure enough, she put down her pride and cooperated with Su Chenghui. The two of them went together, and that difficult client was actually taken down by the two of them. This was the first time Su Chenghui saw Li Qinxue's ability. It was also the first time Li Qinxue discovered that when Su Chenghui wasn't at odds with her, this man was like this. She couldn't help but invite him to celebrate the success of their first cooperation. Su Chenghui was young and full of mettle. When the two of them talked about that client, they couldn't help but drink a few more glasses. In the end, they were both drunk. As for what happened after that, it was hard to say. It was unknown who started it and who took the initiative. Anyway, when Su Chenghui woke up the next day, he faced the scene of Li Qinxue sleeping naked next to him, and Old Master Li's gloomy face. Su Chenghui was sure that this was Li Qinxue's plan. She deliberately made him drunk, and she called Old Master Li. He didn't go to work. He thought about whether he should resign, but he didn't want to. He had just been promoted and was already a department manager. If he resigned now, he would be a little unwilling. However, if he didn't resign, he hated Li Qinxue for setting him up. Under such circumstances, when Xiang Kaiping asked him why he didn't go to work, he didn't know why he rolled with Xiang Kaiping again. It was a mess. He himself felt that he was a mess at that time. However, before he could figure it out and decide whether to resign or not, Old Master Li sent someone to call him to work. About you and Qinxue, as long as you marry her, I can pretend that nothing has happened. Su Chenghui was proud. He refused. He submitted his resignation. Half of it was avoidance, and the other half was guilt. For more than a week, he was with Xiang Kaiping day and night, trying to make up for it. Xiang Kaiping didn't know that she had a relationship with Su Chenghui for many years. Now seeing Su Chenghui treat her more gently and considerately, she didn't doubt it. She only felt happy. Looking at the gentle and careful Xiang Kaiping, Su Chenghui seemed to feel less annoyed. However, he didn't expect that after that one time, Li Qinxue would actually get pregnant. She was pregnant with his child. He felt even more confused. He insisted on resigning and didn't want to be with Li Qinxue. However, Old Master Li began to pressure him. He had nowhere to go if he left the Li Corporation. But this time, his mother found out about these things. Su Chenghui was already the only son of the third generation. Mother Su couldn't let Li Qinxue abort the child. She begged him to marry Li Qinxue and personally went to Xiang Caiping's mother to apologize. She said that Xiang Kaiping and Su Chenghui were not fated. Xiang Kaiping didn't expect such a thing to happen. In a rage, she said that the marriage between the two of them didn't count. She said that she would never marry Su Chenghui. In the end, Su Chenghui married Li Qinxue. He only found out after the marriage. At that time, not only Li Qinxue was pregnant, but Xiang Kaiping was also pregnant. Later, he was obsessed and thought that all this was because of Li Qinxue's scheme. In anger, Su Chenghui impulsively switched the child. Chapter 448. But now, because of Su Qingsang's words, Su Chenghui began to think about the answer after the impulse. In fact, he already had the answer in his heart, but he didn't dare to face it. He didn't dare to face his own mistakes. Did he really hate Li Qinxue? Yes, he did hate her at that time, but he hated himself more. He hated himself for not being strong enough and for not thinking of a solution in time. He hated himself for not sorting things out with Li Qinxue and getting together with Xiang Kaiping. It led to more chaos. It was like making another mistake in order to make up for one. The end result was that the mistake was getting bigger and bigger. It was so big that it was too late for him to undo it. Su Chenghui stared at the building in front of him blankly. He realized that he had unknowingly driven the car home. Yes, this was his home. He had lived here for more than 20 years. After his parents passed away, he regarded Old Master Li as his father. Other than Old Master Li, Su Peijian was his daughter, and Su Yusin was his son. And Li Qianxue. Su Qinghui thought of Li Qianxue's face. He thought of the time when the two of them were always at odds. She was really beautiful. He couldn't deny that. Also, she was very capable and ambitious. In business, the two of them could be said to be perfect. After that cooperation, she got pregnant and forced him to get married. After she gave birth to the baby, she threw herself back into work. With the previous cooperation, even if Su Changhui hated her for forcing him to marry her, he had to admit that she was talented in business. She was also very daring to think and act, and the two of them complemented each other well. Over the years, the Li Corporation was able to grow bigger and bigger, and it was also because of the efforts of the two of them. Other than business, Su Chenghui thought of the first few years of marriage. Li Qianxue knew that he didn't like her, so she tried her best to be good to him. She cared about him in every possible way. At that time, he hadn't been working for long. In addition, because of his family background, he didn't care so much about his image. But after marriage, his image was many times better than before, because his clothes all year round were bought and matched by Li Qianxue. Her family background determined that she also had a good eye. Every night, she would prepare the clothes for him to wear when he went out the next day. Not only his clothes, but everything related to him. She did it herself. Initially, she had really made up her mind to be a good wife. She had even tried to learn how to cook. However, he really didn't have the talent, so he gave up. However, he had deliberately ignored all the good things that she had done for him. He hated her very much. He blamed her for Xiang Saiping's departure, and he blamed her for his own grievance of having to marry her. He did not treat her well at all. He did not even sleep with her for a long time afterwards. If he hadn't drunk too much, Su Yusin wouldn't even have been born. But it was also that time. He discovered the hidden thoughts in his heart. He realized that he actually had a desire for Li Qianxue. How could this be? So he didn't care that she was shy and happy at the time, and he didn't care that he was the one who had violated her while he was drunk. He had thoroughly humiliated her. Tell her not to waste her efforts. He would not fall in love with her, nor would he accept her. He would never. It was also from that day onwards that Li Qianxue's attitude towards him finally changed. She began to give up. However, she didn't expect that she would be pregnant again after that one time. After Su Yusin was born, Li Qianxue began to focus on her son. It had to be said that Su Peijian was slowly growing up at this time. When she was young, she was still very cute. She loved to act coquettishly and liked to laugh. With Su Peijian around, the atmosphere in the house slowly became better. Su Yusin was also very cute when he was young. He didn't act like a boy, but he was more considerate to Li Qianxue than Su Peijian. Because of their two children, Su Changhui and Li Qianxue began to maintain a respectful married life. On the surface, Li Qianxue still treated him the same as before, treating him as her husband. But he knew that it was different. In private, Li Qianxue finally gave up on him. If it weren't for Old Master Li and their two children, perhaps they would have divorced a long time ago. When he found out that Li Qianxue's attitude had changed, he didn't know how he felt at that time. He could only convince himself that yes, this was good. That was good. He didn't love Li Qianxue in the first place, and she was the one who forced him to marry her. But only he knew in his heart that it wasn't good, not good at all. He didn't like Li Qianxue's cold face. He hated that she began to lose him in her eyes. He couldn't help but start to think that Li Qianxue actually didn't love him at all, right? Otherwise, how could she give up so easily? But he didn't think that it wasn't so easy to give up. That was because she slowly gave up after many years of effort and still didn't get a response from him. He couldn't figure it out, and he didn't want to think about it. He stubbornly thought that he would wait for the future to reveal Su Peijian's background. He was so obsessed with taking revenge on her, stubbornly wanting to see Li Qianxue's face change. But did he really want to take revenge on her? No. He slowly began to not want to take revenge on her. But every time he saw Su Qingsang, he couldn't help but be afraid. That kind of emotion was too complicated, so complicated that he couldn't be too good to Su Qingsang. When Su Qing-sang went to college, he couldn't wait to ask Su Qing-sang to move out. He thought that when Su Qing-sang got married, he would give her a dowry. He thought that he would make the best of the mistake. But sometimes when he saw Li Qianxue's cold face in private, he couldn't help but waver. Why should he give up? He wanted to take revenge. He wanted to let Li Qianxue know what she had done wrong. But did Li Qianxue really do anything wrong? No, she didn't. Su Chenghui closed his eyes weakly. No, only now was he willing to admit it. Li Qianxue didn't do anything wrong. All the fault was caused by him. What did he mean by getting drunk? What did he mean by alcohol? If he didn't really have that kind of feelings for Li Qianxue, even if he was drunk, how could anything really happen? The so-called drunken sex was just an excuse to cover up his inner desire. If he was willing to admit it, he would know that he had long fallen in love with Li Qianxue, at a time when he didn't know, because she was so different, gorgeous, flamboyant, like the sun, so that he couldn't move his eyes at all. He loved Li Qianxue, but he couldn't admit it because, deep in his heart, he still had a faint sense of inferiority. He was just an ordinary person from an ordinary family. But Li Qianxue was the daughter of the Li family, the future successor of the Li family. He wasn't sure if Li Qianxue's feelings for him were temporary or sincere. The inferiority in his heart made him refuse Li Qianxue. He didn't even hesitate to use Xiang Kaiping as an excuse. He and Xiang Kaiping grew up together. They were childhood sweethearts, and the elders of the two families arranged for them to be married. He thought that was love. In fact, he had a sibling relationship with Xiang Kaiping, but there was no love between a man and a woman. Otherwise, why would he dare to face his inner desire and have sex with Li Qianxue after he got drunk? It was funny that he didn't understand at the time. He thought that his pity for Xiang Kaiping was love. He also felt inferior in front of Li Qianxue because he couldn't compare to her family background. His childish and ridiculous pride made him do a series of wrong things. In the end, he made more mistakes. Irredeemable. Su Chenghui suddenly laughed out loud. He was too stupid. He was really too stupid. Why didn't he realize his feelings earlier? Why didn't he realize it earlier? Li Qianxue was already different in his heart. Old Master Li should have seen through his feelings long ago, right? That was why he kept reminding him to think clearly about what was most important to him. Unfortunately, he was blinded by greed and didn't seriously think about what was most important to him. When he thought clearly, he was already irreparably wrong. His phone suddenly rang. He froze for a moment and picked up the phone from his seat. Li Qianxue's number was displayed on the screen, which made his heart beat faster. He seemed to have suddenly returned to many years ago when he first met Li Qianxue. He stared at the phone for a long time before picking it up. His heart was beating very fast. He had a lot to say to Li Qianxue. He wanted to tell her that he had been wrong all along. Su Changhui. Li Qianxue's cold voice was on the other end of the phone. It was a familiar voice, but at this moment, it sounded extremely strange. I heard from Lawyer Chun that you won't sign. The simple sentence was like a basin of cold water poured on Su Chenghui's head. His body instantly stiffened. I'm telling you, don't think about playing any tricks. If you still have the idea of giving the family property to Su Peijian, you should give up. I won't let you succeed. Her sharp words were no longer as gentle as Li Qianxue had been to him at first. They sounded very harsh. Su Chenghui was very uncomfortable. He wasn't used to such a sharp Li Qianxue. Qianxue, I don't care what you want to do. I'm telling you, I'm getting a divorce. Li Qianxue thought that he was dissatisfied with her conditions and became more and more angry. Su Chenghui, I've given you everything that should be given to you. Don't think about what I shouldn't have given you. After so many years, I admit that even if I did something wrong back then, I helped you raise your daughter for so many years and let my daughter suffer so much. I'm even with you, right? When Li Qianxue said this, she paused for a moment and calmed down. Su Chenghui, let's part on good terms. If you insist on having your way and refuse to sign, then I don't mind falling out with you. I'll reveal Peijian's identity as an illegitimate daughter to the entire Lin city. I want to see who will be embarrassed when the time comes. Qianxue. Su Chenghui didn't expect Li Qianxue's attitude to be so fierce. Chapter 449. After saying this, Li Qinxue hung up the phone without thinking. In fact, she had raised Su Peijian for more than 20 years. It wasn't that she hadn't thought about what Su Qingsang had said before. She didn't want to ruin Su Peijian unless it was absolutely necessary. Su Peijian would become an illegitimate daughter and wouldn't be able to raise her head in Lin City. However, Su Qinghui's refusal to sign annoyed her. In her opinion, Su Chenghui was simply greedy. She felt that she had gotten too little from them. Or was it that he hadn't had enough revenge? Did he want to continue? Either way, Li Qinxue wasn't willing to accompany him. Su Chenghui was stunned for a long time when he was interrupted. His heart, which had been beating wildly just now, slowly calmed down. He looked at the phone for a long time and called Li Qinxue back. Su Chenghui, what else do you want? Qinxue, I won't sign. Su Chenghui seemed to have finally found his voice. He looked at the Li family's mansion in front of him. Listening to Li Qinshue's breathing on the other end of the phone, he spoke very seriously, word by word. You're the most precious to me. Li Qinxue didn't expect to hear this. What do you want? I don't want to divorce you. Su Chenghui said very seriously. Su Chenghui said very seriously. Now, I finally know that you are the one I cherish the most. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end of the phone. Li Qinxue sneered. Are you trying to use this method to make me agree not to divorce you? I'm not. I'm telling you, don't even think about it. Li Qinshue's voice was even angrier than before. Su Chenghui, put away your dirty thoughts. If you think that you can make me not divorce you with a few sweet words, you're dreaming. After saying this, Li Qinxue hung up the phone without thinking. But even after the phone was hung up, she still felt that she couldn't take it. She couldn't help but call Su Chenghui again. The day after tomorrow, at the latest. If you don't sign, I'll let the whole Lin City know about Su Peijian's background. That's all. After saying this, Li Qinxue hung up the phone and turned it off. When she looked up, she found that Su Qingsang had arrived and was standing at the door looking at her. Feeling a little uncomfortable, she stood up and walked towards Su Qingsang. Why didn't you tell me when you came up? Aren't you downstairs accompanying Grandpa? Yes. Su Qingsang nodded and looked at Li Qinxue holding her hand. Grandpa is playing chess with Yusin. I don't really understand it either. I came to look for you. Just now, Nanny Zhang said that it's almost time to eat, so she asked me to call you downstairs. Okay. Li Qinxue calmed down and took Su Qingsang's hand. Thinking that she might have heard him on the phone just now, he felt a little uncomfortable. Qingsang, you won't blame me, right? Why should I blame you? I'm afraid you'll blame me for being too ruthless and kick your father out. After all, Su Qingsang and Su Chenghui were father and daughter. She was afraid that Su Chenghui would blame her. If you really blame me, there's nothing I can do. Me and Dad, I really can't live on anymore. I understand you. I won't blame you. It was a miracle that Li Qinxue could endure it until now. If it was any other woman, she would have already flared up. That's good. Li Qinxue held Su Qingsang's hand and walked outside. From now on, your grandfather and I, as well as you two, will depend on each other. Su Qingsang glanced at her and bit her lip. She seemed to be in a dilemma. What's wrong? Aren't you happy to live with me? Li Qinxue was really worried. She didn't forget. She didn't have a good relationship with Su Qingsang before. No. Su Qingsang still decided to tell the truth. Mom, I know you just recognized me and can't bear to leave me. But I'm married to Hu Jinyao after all. He's going back to Rome City now. It's not right for me to still be here. I'm thinking if I should go to Rome City in a few days. No. Li Qinxue held her hand tightly. How can you leave? I just recognized you. Mom, there's still a long way to go. Su Qingsang thought of Huan Manzi's words. Hu Jinyao has a big family at home. I've only gone back once since we got married. Now I'm not going back for the new year, and I'm not going back for the holidays. It's really not good. Then Li Qinxue said a few words, but couldn't say anything. When she got married, her status was higher than Su Chenghui's. Su Chenghui's parents almost always flattered her. Later, less than 2 years after Su Yusin was born, Su Chenghui's parents passed away. She didn't even have a proper mother-in-law. Even so, it didn't mean that she didn't understand the ways of the world. What kind of family did Hua Jinyao come from? It wasn't that she didn't know before. In the past, she thought that Su Qingsang was lucky to marry into a family like Hua Jinyao, and that she might not be able to bear the responsibility of being the eldest granddaughter-in-law. Now hearing Su Qingsang say that, she began to feel bad again. But no matter how bad she felt, she knew that Su Qingsang was telling the truth. She was already married and was no longer alone. Thinking of this, Li Qinshue's heart was upset again. Look at you. I've only known you for a few days. You didn't spend more time with me. Su Qingsang didn't know what to say. She also felt very sorry for Li Qinsue. Mom, I'm sorry. Okay. If you want to go, go. But you have to go 2 days later. Tomorrow is definitely not possible. A few days later, let Mom arrange it. Su Qingsang was very surprised. She looked at Li Qinsue blankly, and for a moment, she thought that she had heard wrong. What? Do you think I won't let you go? Li Qinsue really wanted to do that. Now I feel that Hua Jinyao is getting off too easy. I didn't like him in the past. Now I don't like him even more. She didn't love her daughter enough. Thinking about it, she felt that Hua Jinyao was getting off too easy. Mom, Su Qingsang smiled. Don't worry. I'll definitely come back to see you. Okay, I want you to come back. I've thought about it. I'll go with you. Li Qinsue really couldn't bear to part with her daughter. Anyway, your grandfather and I haven't been out for a long time. We'll book plane tickets and go to Rome City together for 10 days to half a month. That's good. I haven't had much fun in Rome City myself. Su Qingsang smiled, feeling that the dark clouds in her heart had dissipated. She hooked her arm around Li Qinshue's arm. Mom, thank you. Li Qinshue's concession was actually for her. Su Qingsang's heart was slightly touched. Don't thank me, silly child. You, and I never need to say thank you. Li Qinsue suddenly stopped and looked at Su Qingsang with a serious face. I also want to be a selfish mother, but I want you to be happy more. She already owed Su Qingsang a lot. How could she have the heart to delay her marriage? The so-called husband and wife were actually mutual. She also knew how much Hua Jinyao had done for Su Qingsang in the past. If Su Qingsang wanted to live a happy life with Hua Jinyao in the future, it was also very important to think from another perspective. Su Qingsang bit her lip and felt her eyes become a little moist. Qingsang, I've been a failure in my life. It's also very hard, because it's very tiring to give unilaterally and not get anything in return. Although Hua Jinyao doesn't like him very much. But if he treats you well, you have to treat him well too. Otherwise, after a long time, his heart will become cold. Li Qinsue was talking about her and Hua Jinyao, but Su Qingsang knew that she was also thinking about herself. Mom, don't worry. I know. It's good that you know. Su Qingsang thought about it and couldn't help but say, Mom, you're still young. If you can really meet a good man in the future. In fact, it's okay to start over. Why? You don't like your own father and want to find a stepfather? Su Qinghui had broken Li Qinshue's heart. How could she be in the mood to find a good man? However, she didn't want her daughter to worry, and she didn't want Su Qingsang to think too much. She held Su Qingsang's arm and walked downstairs. Don't worry. Even at this age, I'm still as beautiful as a flower. I can still handle 1 or 2 men. I'll find a young and handsome one later. That's good. I'll help you to consider when the time comes. When the two talked about these things, they were like a real mother and daughter. It was as if the estrangement of the past 20 years didn't exist at all. The Lantern Festival. Compared with the desolation during the Spring Festival, the Su house was much more lively today. Old Master Li was happy to have his granddaughter back. Although he couldn't announce it to the world and let the entire Lin City know that Su Qingsang was the real daughter of a rich family. But it was still possible to let the relatives of the Li family know. Among the relatives of the same generation as Old Master Li, there was a cousin of Old Master Li and a cousin of his. The rest were the descendants of these two people. There were also a few other relatives from the side branches. They were distant, but they still had contact with each other. Old Master Li invited these people, and they came early in the morning. The servants received the order, set up tea early, and began to serve these guests. Su Qingsang was still upstairs. Li Qianxue felt that this was the first time her daughter showed up. Even if it was only relatives, it had to be grand. Yesterday, she had asked someone to send a dress over, and today, she opened her safe. In it were the jewelry she had collected over the years. Take a look and see which one you like. Li Qianxue, who had just recognized Su Qingsang, couldn't wait to give her all the good things. It was Su Qingsang's first time here. Looking at the jewelry, she felt a little dizzy. Mom, you don't have to be so dramatic, do you? Yes. Li Qianxue looked at the clothes her daughter was wearing. Take a look and see which one you like. I'll give them all to you, but you'll wear one today. The mother and daughter picked out the jewelry, while Old Master Li and Su Yusin downstairs entertained the guests. No one said what it was about. They waited for Su Qingsang to come downstairs. At the same time, at the gate of the courtyard outside the garden. As soon as Su Peijian got out of the car, she saw the cars in the parking lot in the courtyard. There were many cars parked there, and she recognized a few of them. They were the relatives of the family. She had seen them drive before. In the distance, she could still hear the laughter in the house. Su Peijian suddenly felt a little upset. Chapter 450. Su Peijian was supposed to stay in her apartment that day. However, when she called Li Qianxue earlier, she didn't say if she could go back. She didn't dare to call Su Chengwei. It was this uneasy feeling that made her stay in the apartment for the whole day. Although someone took care of her daily life, how could it compare to home? Yesterday was fine, but today was the holiday. Whether it was on Weibo or WeChat moments, they were all celebrating the holiday. Su Peijian really couldn't stand it anymore. She really didn't want to stay alone. Even if she risked being scolded, she had to go home. Staying with her parents was better than staying in the apartment alone. However, she didn't expect to see such a busy scene as soon as she returned to the Su family. She suddenly felt sad. Even if she wasn't at home, they could still celebrate the holiday happily. Su Peijian couldn't tell how she felt. In the past, she felt that her parents loved her, but now she felt that she was a little self-righteous. She didn't hold back her anger, so she quickly walked inside. She really wanted to ask her parents if they didn't care at all that she wasn't at home. Upstairs, Su Qingsang looked at the jewelry and felt that her eyes were blurry. She looked at Li Qianxue silently. Mom, you've changed 3 sets. I think the one just now is very good. You don't need to change anymore. No, I still feel that it's not luxurious enough. Li Qianxue really wanted to put all the jewelry in the room on Su Qingsang. After looking around, she finally picked up a set of pink diamond jewelry. I want them to know that my daughter deserves the best. Su Qingsang couldn't refuse Li Qianxue's kindness. She could see in the past few days. If she didn't let Li Qianxue make up for it, she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to get over it. Moreover, these things really weren't much to Li Qianxue. In the end, she didn't stingy and let Li Qianxue put the set of jewelry on her. Li Qianxue took a step back and looked at Su Qingsang. My daughter is so beautiful. Mom is beautiful too. Although today's banquet was a little rushed, Li Qianxue wasn't unprepared. She had asked someone to bring the dress over yesterday. Her dress was light pink, and Li Qianxue's was white. Although the color was different, the style was very similar, especially the dark rose pattern embroidered on their chests. When the two of them stood together, people would think that they were a pair of beautiful sisters. Oh right, I heard that you have a good friend. Why didn't you invite her today? Su Qingsang was a little embarrassed. She hadn't told Shi Mengwan about staying in Lin City. She thought she was already in Rong City. Her background was too complicated, and she couldn't explain it clearly in a short time. Su Qingsang planned to tell her about it after today. She has work to do. Let's talk to her in a few days. Li Qianxue's expression suddenly changed. Qingsang, don't tell me you still don't want to acknowledge me? That's why you didn't tell your friend? Mom, what are you thinking? Su Qingsang felt a little helpless toward Li Qianxue. She didn't know if it was because of the previous loss that Li Qianxue was particularly concerned about her. She felt a little helpless. That's good. I'll treat her to a meal sometime next time. As Li Qianxue spoke, She tucked a strand of hair that fell from Su Qingsang's cheek behind her ear. Qingsang, in the future, your friends, your colleagues, and Hui Jinyao's relatives in Rong City. I want to get to know them all. Don't think that I'm annoying. I always feel that it's not real. When I think about how Su Changhui once wanted to send you to an orphanage, my heart can't stand it. Li Qianxue even felt lucky that Su Changhui hadn't lost the last trace of humanity. If Su Qingsang was really sent to an orphanage by him. Now, even if she knew that Su Peijian wasn't her daughter, how could she find her daughter in this big world? Mom, Dad isn't that kind of person. Su Changhui might have thought about it back then, but he didn't do it after all. Don't mention him. Li Qianxue was annoyed at the mention of Su Changhui, especially yesterday, in order not to divorce. He even said that she was his most precious person. Li Qianxue felt that it was more disgusting than eating a fly. She had been married to Su Changhui for so long, but she couldn't see that he was such a hypocritical person. Okay, don't mention it. Mom, let's go down. Just now, she heard faint laughter coming from downstairs. Most of the guests should be here by now, right? Let's go. Li Qianxue glanced at Su Qingsang again, then finally held her hand and led her downstairs. Just as they walked to the stairs, they met Su Yusin, who had come to pick them up. Su Yusin looked at the mother and daughter in similar clothes in front of him and touched his nose. Mom, I have 2 sisters now, right? You only know how to talk nonsense. Li Qianxue was also in a good mood. She had always maintained herself well. Standing next to Su Qingsang, they did not look like mother and daughter, but more like sisters. Come, 2 beautiful ladies, please give me this honor. Take your hands and go downstairs. Su Yusin bent down and reached out to the 2 of them. Su Qingsang wanted to laugh, but she also felt a little touched. She put her hand in Su Yusin's. However, Su Yusin still handed her hand to Li Qianxue, then stood next to Li Qianxue. The 2 siblings followed Li Qianxue downstairs, one on the left and one on the right. Li Qianxue looked at her son and then at her daughter. Suddenly, she felt that as long as they were there, nothing else mattered. On the other side, when Su Peijian walked to the gate, she met Xiao Yu, the maid of the Su family. When she saw Su Peijian, she was shocked. Miss. Wasn't Miss in the United States? Why was she back? No, Madam said it yesterday. In the future, the Miss of the family would be Miss Su Qingsang. But now Su Peijian was back. What should I do? Su Peijian was displeased by Xiao Yu's shocked expression. She glared at her. What are you doing? Don't you recognize me? Miss. Xiao Yu thought of what Madam said today and was a little anxious. As servants, they didn't know much about the master's affairs. But this morning, they were reminded by the housekeeper. It was the day when Su Qingsang returned to the family. Since Su Qingsang was the miss of the Su family, Su Peijian was naturally not. Xiao Yu knew Su Peijian's temper well after working in the old mansion for so many years. She had a bad temper. She always meant what she said. If Su Peijian knew what happened today, she didn't know what would happen later. Xiao Yu was very anxious now. She wanted to stop Su Peijian, but she didn't have the ability. She didn't want to stop her. She was afraid that the housekeeper and Li Qianxue would blame her later. Mississippi, you came here on such a cold day. It must be very cold, right? It's quite windy outside today. Why don't we go to the kitchen, have a bowl of hot soup, and then see Madam? There were 2 doors in the kitchen. One was from the dining room, and the other was a small door for the servants to go in and out. Xiao Yu wanted to take Su Peijian to the kitchen and ask Li Qianxue what to do. Li Qianxue was annoyed by Xiao Yu's words. I'm not cold. Get out of the way. I want to see my mother. No, Mississippi. I'm really doing this for your own good. You see, it's really cold today. You see, your face is red. Why don't we go into the kitchen first? Get out of the way. Su Peijian pushed Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu was caught off guard and took 2 or 3 steps to the side. Unprepared, Xiao Yu retreated 2 or 3 steps to the side. She was even more anxious now. Su Peijian was like this. If she really let her in, she was afraid that she would cause trouble. Miss, listen to me. What did you call me? Su Peijian seemed to have only just realized. She was always addressed as eldest miss at home. Su Yusin was the young master. But today, Xiao Yu kept calling her Mississippi. Who are you calling Miss? Don't you know the rules? I'm telling you, I'll ask my mother to fire you. After saying this, Su Peijian was about to rush inside again. Xiaoyu was so anxious that she didn't care anymore. She stopped Su Peijian. Miss, you can go in if you want. But listen to me, there's a guest inside today. If you're unhappy about something, you should calm down. Guest? What guest? Su Peijian sneered. Is there any guest in the house that I don't know? Do I need to talk? Mississippi. If you call me miss again, I'll sew your mouth shut. Su Peijian pointed at Xiaoyu fiercely, and her fierce eyes scared Xiaoyu. She wanted to persuade her again, but Uncle Zhang happened to come out at this time. Seeing Su Peijian, Uncle Zhang was also stunned. He didn't expect Su Peijian to come back so suddenly. The servants of the Su family didn't know, but Uncle Zhang, who had lived in this big house with old Master Li for half of his life, knew it very well. Since the real Miss was back, the fake one was naturally worthless. Today was Su Qingsang's good day. It was also the first time she showed her face in front of people. How could Uncle Zhang let Su Peijian go in and ruin it? Miss, you're back? Look at you. Why didn't you call to tell me? I could have sent someone to pick you up. Uncle Zhang, where are my parents? Su Peijian looked inside and didn't want to be polite to Uncle Zhang at all. Shall you stop me from going in? You won't stop me from going in too, will you? Of course not. My good Mississippi. But now there are many people inside and it's noisy. If you ask me, you must be covered in dust on your way back. Why don't you go upstairs and tidy up and come back? If Su Peijian had just been impulsive to see Li Qianxue and Su Chengwei. Now, she could completely guess that something was very wrong with today's events. She slightly narrowed her eyes and glanced at Uncle Zhang and Xiaoyu's faces. She pushed the two of them away, and before they could stop her, she quickly rushed into the gate. At the same time, Li Qianxue had already gone downstairs with her son and daughter. They walked to the staircase. In the living room, old Master Li saw his daughters coming downstairs and was the first to stand up. As soon as he stood up, the others also stood up. As soon as they stood up, they blocked Su Peijian's view. Chapter 451. Qingsang, Yusen. Come here. Old Master Li reached out to Su Qingsang and Su Yusen, especially to Su Qingsang. His eyes were filled with love. The bad feeling in Su Peijian's heart grew stronger and stronger. Her body began to stiffen as she stood there. What was going on? Why was Su Qingsang standing beside her mother? Why did Grandpa speak to Su Qingsang in such a gentle voice? Su Peijian's mind was full of questions. She couldn't help but want to rush forward, but her body couldn't move. Behind him, Uncle Chun and Xiaoyu had already entered. The two of them wanted to stop him, but they couldn't. After looking at each other, they shrunk their heads and went back to the kitchen. Forget it. I'll just pretend I didn't see it. Anyway, Su Peijian could be considered the owner of the house. They had no right to stop it. Su Qingsang was a little nervous when she saw the large group of people in the living room, even though she had met these relatives before. But at that time, she was just an illegitimate daughter, a nobody in the Su family. But now it was completely different. She couldn't help but glance at Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue stood behind her. When their eyes met, she held her hand tightly and led her to old Master Li. I have invited everyone here today because I have something to announce. When old Master Li said this, he was still a little emotional. He was old, and his health was not particularly good. Because of Su Qingsang, she hadn't been able to sleep well. Previously, we all knew that the Su family had another daughter. That is Qingsang. Old Master Li took Su Qingsang's hand and stood beside Su Qingsang with Li Qianxue. Because of Li Qianxue's warm and soft hands, Su Qingsang felt the tension in her heart dissipate a lot. In fact, Qianxue gave birth to a child in the hospital at the same time as someone else. After the baby was born, the nurse switched the baby. Old Master Li spoke casually, but the other guests at the scene all stared at him with wide eyes. Was it a mistake? How is this a mistake? As a matter of fact, we only found out about it recently because of an accident. So Su Qingsang is Qianxue's daughter. This matter can't be faked. We've already done a paternity test. Whispers and gasps could be heard from the audience. Those gazes once again landed on Su Qingsang, and those gazes with different meanings made Su Qingsang feel uneasy. The reason I called you here today is to explain Qingsang's background to you. Now that I know Qingsang's identity, I will naturally give her the treatment she deserves. Old Master Li's words were loud and clear as he looked at the people in the middle of the living room. He didn't finish his sentence, but his meaning was clear. Su Qingsang had been switched to the wrong place, so everyone thought she was an illegitimate daughter. But now, she was no longer an illegitimate daughter, but a legitimate daughter of a wealthy family. Therefore, these people had to consider their attitude towards Su Qingsang in the future. Also, Su Qingsang was now the granddaughter of the Li family. She was also the eldest daughter of the Su family. If others dare to look down on and be rude to Su Qingsang like before, the Li family would not let it go so easily. Those who were invited today were all relatives of the Li family. All of them were shrewd people. After hearing what old Master Li said, what else could they not understand? Great-grandfather Li, who was old Master Li's cousin, and Li Qianxue had to call him Grandpa, smiled and nodded. So you've recognized your granddaughter? It seems that this is really a joyous occasion. As he spoke, he took out a box from his pocket and handed it to Su Qingsang. Here, since you've recognized your granddaughter, this is a greeting gift. Su Qingsang didn't take the box immediately. She naturally knew great-grandfather Li, but she turned to look at Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue patted the back of her hand and said, "This is a gift from your grandpa. You should accept it." Old Master Li's cousins were of the same generation as him. Before they came, Old Master Li had informed them of the situation. Su Qingsang accepted the box and bowed to great-grandfather Li. "Thank you, Grandpa." Okay. Great-grandfather Li nodded repeatedly, obviously very satisfied with Su Qingsang's politeness. Great-grandfather Li gave her a greeting gift. That great-aunt was not stingy. "Your grandpa told us in a hurry, and I didn't prepare anything. I also have a little toy here. You can wear it and play with it." Great-aunt took out a velvet box, which looked like a bracelet. Su Qingsang took it and nodded to her. "Thank you, Great-aunt." The two elders had already expressed their gratitude. Their nephew was of the same generation as Li Qianxue, so they had to express their gratitude. However, they had come in a hurry today, unlike great-grandfather Li, who had received the news beforehand. For a moment, the group of people didn't know what to give. Great-grandfather Li's son suddenly remembered that there was a piece of jewelry in his car that he had prepared as a gift. It was also very expensive, so it was a suitable gift. He was about to take it, but unexpectedly, when he turned around, he saw Su Peijian standing outside of their circle. Niece. Just now, Li Qianxue was busy introducing people to Su Qingsang, and old Master Li had been staring at the guests. He planned to directly throw out the paternity test report if anyone questioned it. Su Yusin stood with a few people of the same generation. The group of people didn't pay attention to what was happening outside of the group of people in the living room, so no one noticed that Su Peijian was also there. When he called her niece, Su Qingsang glanced at him. At the same time, she also saw Su Peijian. The moment their eyes met, Su Qingsang clearly saw the shock in Su Peijian's eyes, and she saw Su Peijian. So did old Master Li and the others. The moment old Master Li saw Su Peijian, he felt a little awkward and uncomfortable. In fact, it was natural for them to recognize Su Qingsang. However, Su Peijian had been with them for so many years, and they had feelings for each other. Although they hated what Su Chenghui had done, no one wanted to blame it on Su Peijian. After all, ignorance was not a crime. In the past few days, Li Qianxue and old Master Li had been thinking about Su Peijian's situation and what she would do in the future. Because of this consideration, the father and daughter had specially discussed how to treat Su Peijian in the future. After so many years of raising her, she was an adopted daughter. They would pick a time for Su Chenghui to explain the situation to her. Later, they would give her a dowry so that she could get married in a grand way. It could be considered that they had done their best. However, no one would have thought that. Su Peijian would suddenly come back, and she happened to see the scene of them bringing Su Qingsang to meet people. For a moment, old Master Li and his daughter felt a little uncomfortable. In just a short while, Su Peijian had already recovered from the stiffness she'd felt earlier. Chapter 452. Su Peijian was standing outside the crowd. Su Qingsang was in the limelight. She watched how old Master Li and Li Qianxue protected Su Qingsang and made her the daughter of the Su family. For a moment, she thought she had misheard, that there was something wrong with her ears. How could Su Qingsang be the daughter of the Su family? How could she be Li Qianxue's daughter? Li Qianxue's daughter was obviously her. It should be her. Su Peijian closed her eyes and tried hard to control the expression on her face. She did not want to look too ferocious. It's hard, though. No one in the living room spoke. Su Qingsang's family background was announced. Everyone knew who Su Peijian was, and there was no need to ask anymore. Even if he didn't know where Su Peijian came from or whose daughter she was, he would never forget. But looking at the current situation, what else was there to be confused about? Everyone was silent as they watched the once high-spirited Miss Su walk into the middle of the crowd. Li Qianxue had raised Su Peijian for more than 20 years, so she knew her daughter very well. At this moment, seeing her walking directly towards her, she inexplicably felt a little guilty. But that kind of guilty conscience only lasted for a moment. She believed that all these years, her motherly love for Su Peijian had come from the bottom of her heart. She had never done anything wrong to Su Peijian. Even now, she and old Master Li still planned to give her the status and treatment that an adopted daughter of the Su family deserved. Thinking of this, Li Qianxue calmed down a lot. Peijian is back? You must be tired from the journey back. Let's go upstairs and rest. Li Qianxue looked at Su Peijian with a glimmer of hope in her eyes. He hoped that Su Peijian would be sensible and understand his hints. He hoped that she would know what kind of occasion this was. She had doted on Su Peijian for so many years, and she really treated her as one of her successors. She thought that Su Peijian might be able to discern something like that. I'm not tired. It wasn't that Su Peijian didn't see Li Qianxue's hint, and it wasn't that she didn't know how ugly she looked right now. However, there were some things that she really couldn't control. For example, she was inexplicably replaced by someone else. She didn't even know what had happened. Mom, Grandpa, I heard something just now, but I didn't quite understand what it meant. Mom, why don't you tell me? She spoke calmly, her clenched fist showing obvious restraint. When she saw Su Qingsang's face, she suddenly raised her hand. How'd you change your daughter? Shouldn't I be your daughter? In fact, she also wanted to ask Su Qingsang why. What do you mean by mistaken identity? How could there be a mistake? She would never believe such a lousy excuse. It had been fine for so many years. You came all the way here to say that you made a mistake? Su Qingsang subtly took a small step back. It wasn't that she was afraid of Su Peijian, but she didn't want to make her presence as small as possible. She didn't want Su Peijian to think that she was showing off. Su Yusin noticed her movements. He silently squeezed her hand and took a step forward. Sister, go back to your room and rest first. We'll talk later. Don't call me sister yet. Su Peijian looked at Su Yusin. She didn't miss Su Yusin's little action just now. She felt even worse. She's your sister now, isn't she? Li Qianxue frowned and finally realized something. She had spoiled Su Peijian too much. Peijian, Yusin said that we'll talk later. I don't want to talk later. I want to talk now. Su Peijian's voice was quite rude. She pointed at Su Qingsang, who was standing next to Li Qianxue. She's just an illegitimate daughter. I just want to know what rights she has now, and what rights she has. She can stand here. Li Qianxue didn't like to hear the words illegitimate daughter now. If it weren't for Su Qinghui's selfishness and ruthlessness, how could her daughter have grown up with the title of illegitimate daughter? That was a misunderstanding. I said it just now. When she was born, the doctor made a mistake. Qingsang is not an illegitimate daughter. What about me? Su Peijian couldn't help raising her voice. If she's not an illegitimate daughter, then what am I? Huh? Tell me, what am I? Her questioning tone made Li Qianxue a little uncomfortable. The room was full of relatives. She really couldn't lose her temper like this. Patient, I'll say it again. If you have anything to say, you can talk later. Go upstairs and rest for a while. I said I'm not tired. I don't want to rest. Su Peixian was quite stubborn. Can't I ask? Don't I have the right to know? Am I not your daughter? Su Peixian's anger only grew as she questioned him in return. Old Master Li's face was a little ugly. It was only a matter of time before Su Peixian came to find him, but he didn't expect it to be so sudden. Peixian, Old Master Li said. No matter what, today was not only a holiday, but also a good day for Su Qingsang. He hoped that everything would go smoothly. Peixian, since you're back, take a rest. There are so many guests at home now. If you have anything to say, you can talk later. Old Master Li's words were light, but there was an irresistible majesty. If it were any other day, Su Peixian would definitely listen to him. However, today was not a normal day. Instead, because of Old Master Li's words, Su Peixian became angry. She took a step forward and directly faced Old Master Li and Li Qianxue. So, now I'm the one who is not welcomed in this family, right? So, before I know what I've done wrong, I've already lost the right to speak in this family, right? Is that so? Li Qianxue frowned. For the first time, she found that this daughter of hers was a little too aggressive. Why aren't you saying anything? Isn't that the case? Su Peixian was really angry and unhappy. She didn't hide her unhappiness. Grandpa, Mom, don't I even have the right to understand the situation? Aren't you going to tell me what happened? Su Qingsang didn't speak. At this time, it was inappropriate for her to say anything. Su Yusin was silent. No matter what, he and Su Peixian had been siblings since they were children. If possible, he didn't want her to make things too ugly. Li Qianxue felt a headache coming on. She hated Su Chengwei more and more. If it weren't for him, she wouldn't have to face such a situation. If it weren't for Su Chengwei, she could be happily accompanying her original daughter now. Su Peixian suddenly smiled and nodded heavily. Her gaze swept across the people in front of her. Good. Really good. It's really good. She suddenly stood in front of Su Qingsang and stared straight at Su Qingsang's face with her beautiful almond-shaped eyes. They refused to answer my questions, but you should be able to, right? Su Qingsang. She raised her chin and stared at Su Qingsang's face. You should be able to explain how you went from an illegitimate daughter to the eldest daughter of the Su family. You should also be able to explain what methods you used to make my mother, my brother, and my grandfather all stand on your side, right? Where's my dad? Why isn't my dad here? I also want to ask my dad if he was also bewitched by you. Su Qingsang pursed her lips into a straight line. It wasn't that she didn't know how to answer Su Peixian's question. And no matter how she answered, Su Peixian might not accept that answer. Peixian. Li Qianxue couldn't listen to it anymore. In the past, when Su Peixian made things difficult for Su Qingsang, she didn't know Su Qingsang's identity, so naturally, she didn't feel much. But now that her biological daughter was being embarrassed by Su Peixian in front of her, she couldn't stand it anymore. Watch your words. Watch what I should watch. Su Peixian was getting angrier. The more Li Qianxue defended Su Qingsang, the angrier she got. What can I watch? I'm about to be robbed of everything. Can't I ask clearly? How my mother, my brother, and my grandfather were taken away from me. Can't I ask? She didn't look at Li Qianxue and stared at Su Qingsang again. Tell me, what kind of method did you use? What kind of trick did you use? Tell me. I just want to know, why are you here? Why are you robbing me of everything? Su Qingsang clenched her hands by her side and bit her lips slightly. Before Li Qianxue could speak, she pressed her arm and turned to face Su Peixian. If you want to know why, we can tell you. But are you sure that you want to say it here? Her eyes were extremely clear, without a trace of dissatisfaction or unhappiness in them. She looked at Su Peixian like this, and her eyes showed the most sincere advice to her. If you really want to know, we can say it here. But do you really want to listen? Do you really want us to say it now here? She wanted to remind Su Peixian that she wasn't the only one here, not just a few of them. If Su Peixian continued to make a scene, her identity would definitely be exposed. Li Qianxue had decided to give her the dignity that an adopted daughter of the Su family deserved. But if Su Peijian insisted on continuing to ask, how could others not guess that she was the illegitimate daughter of the Su family? With her personality, could she really stand her identity changing from a legitimate daughter of a wealthy family to an illegitimate daughter? Su Peijian bit her lip and looked at Su Qingsang almost with a bit of resentment. Her eyes, which kept changing emotions, were obviously filled with resentment and dissatisfaction. Tell me, why not? Why can't you tell me? Su Peijian raised her voice when she said the last 3 words. She lost her usual calmness and demeanor. Anger made her sharp, and she desperately wanted to know an answer. Li Qianxue frowned. At this time, she was slightly disappointed in Su Peijian. Peijian, if you really want to know, come with me. As mother and daughter, Li Qianxue was willing to protect Su Peijian's dignity and her. However, Su Peijian didn't want to think that way. She looked at Li Qianxue and only felt that she had changed. Did she want her to disappear from here now? Did she want her to get out of here quickly so that she could make room for Su Qingsang? She stared at the people in front of her, who used to be her closest family. There was obvious pain and anger in her eyes. Chapter 453. Li Qianxue's brows were tightly knitted together. She had already lost her initial patience with Su Peijian's interrogation. If you really want to know, then let me explain. A voice that didn't belong here sounded. There was exhaustion in the elegance and helplessness in the hoarse voice. Li Qianxue looked up and saw the enemy she had been entangled with for half of her life. Su Changhui, who shouldn't be here at this moment. Her expression suddenly became even more unsightly. She crossed her arms in front of her chest, and her eyes were endless cold. What was he doing here again? He was the one who caused all the trouble and pain today. Why did he come again? Did he want to watch the show? Old Master Li didn't like Su Qinghui either. However, he had lived longer than everyone present, so he was able to maintain his composure. Dad. Su Peijian looked at him as if she had seen her savior. She walked toward Su Changhui quickly, and her eyes were already uncontrollably red. Su Changhui looked at Su Peijian with a very complicated expression. He turned his head and looked at Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue looked noble and elegant in her white dress. Even though there was obvious anger on her face, it only made her look a little more lively. She was so beautiful. Su Changhui sighed in his heart. Why had he been so blind and ignored such a wife for so many years? What was even more hateful was that when he realized this, his marriage with Li Qianxue had come to an end. His heart was a little sour. He looked at Li Qianxue with thousands of words in his eyes, but at this time, he couldn't say a word. Dad. When Su Peijian found that Su Changhui had been ignoring her, she couldn't help but stomp her feet and call him again. Peijian. Su Changhui looked away and at the same time suppressed the bitterness in his heart. When he saw Su Peijian's unwilling face, he felt guilty for the first time for this daughter. His mistake was really irreparable. The most important thing now was how to make up for it. Peijian, come with me. These 6 words were filled with an indescribable sense of regret and sorrow. Su Peijian didn't want to go. At this time, she had a hunch that what Su Changhui was going to say was something she didn't want to hear. She suddenly didn't want to know. I want to listen right here. Su Chinghui's face darkened. He thought of what Xiang Kaiping had said to him. He didn't think so in the past, but today was the first time he felt that his daughter had been spoiled rotten by him. Come with me. These 4 simple words were filled with a domineering aura that Su Peijian could not refuse. In this family, Su Peijian was least afraid of Su Changhui. Su Changhui was the one she was most afraid of. That was because Su Changhui gave people the impression that he was a gentleman who would never get angry. In fact, everyone in the family knew that when Su Changhui was really angry, no one could stand it. Su Qingsang swallowed, suppressed all the unwillingness in her heart, and followed Su Changhui. Su Changhui looked at Li Qianxue with a complicated look in his eyes. You guys continue. After saying this, he took Su Peijian upstairs. Su Qingwei left with Su Peijian. However, the relatives and friends in the family were still in a state of confusion. What? What the hell was going on? It wasn't just the others. Great-grandfather Li and his great-aunt were also very curious. Great-grandfather Li was a man, so it was not convenient for him to speak. His great-aunt was not polite. Qinxue, can I ask, this Peijian, now, she is the daughter of the Su family. Li Qinxue had a faint smile on her face. She didn't want to say a word in detail. Everyone present began to ponder in their hearts. The daughter of the Su family meant more than one thing. An adopted daughter was also a daughter. An illegitimate daughter was also a daughter. The biological daughter could still be regarded as her own daughter. He just didn't know what Su Peijian was now in the Su family, other than Su Qingsang being the eldest daughter of the Su family. Su Qingsang breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Su Chenghui. If it was possible, it would be much easier for Su Chenghui to explain to Su Peijian. However, when she looked at Su Chenghui just now, he looked even more haggard than yesterday. She looked at Li Qinxue, who was chatting with her great-aunt's family. She didn't take Su Qinghui's appearance to heart at all. She sighed in her heart. It seemed that Li Qinxue had completely let it go. Sister, are you worried? Are you worried? Su Yusin stood beside her and saw that she didn't look too good. Don't worry. Mom and I won't let anything happen to you. I'm not worried. She shook her head. She couldn't say that she saw the way Su Chenghui looked at Li Qinxue just now. She had seen that kind of look before. She knew what it meant. It was clear that Su Chenghui had finally realized his feelings for her at such a time. However, when she looked at Li Qinxue again, she didn't care about Su Chenghui at all. When Li Qinxue loved Su Chenghui didn't love her. When Su Chenghui fell in love with Li Qinxue, but Li Qinxue didn't love Su Chenghui anymore. Su Qingsang suddenly felt that fate was playing tricks on people. It was such a rare thing to meet the right person at the right time. Su Yusin didn't know if she shook her head because she didn't want him to worry or if she really wasn't worried. But in fact, he was a little worried. I'm quite sad to see my sister like that. After all, they had grown up together. For so many years, he had really regarded Su Peijian as his own sister. Now that such a thing had happened to his sister, a good family had become torn apart. He felt a little sad. Qingsang, Yusin, come here. Old Master Li was calling Su Qingsang. She glanced at Su Yusin. There were many things that were not suitable to say now. She patted Su Yusin on the shoulder and looked at him sincerely. Don't worry. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Some things may feel sad at the time, but one day, it will all be over. Su Yusin nodded and held her hand as they walked toward Old Master Li in the study upstairs. After listening to Su Qinghui's words, Su Peijian was stunned and couldn't move. On a day in the first lunar month, the indoor central air conditioning made the study very warm. Su Peijian only felt a burst of coldness. The coldness spread from her back all the way to her heart, and then spread from her heart to her limbs. Dad! Su Peijian found her voice with great difficulty. She looked at Su Chenghui, her eyes full of disbelief. Are you kidding? You must be joking with me, right? Su Chenghui didn't want to hurt Su Peijian. He was also very sad to see his daughter like this. Loving Su Peijian had become a habit. If possible, he didn't want to hurt her. Peijian, I'm sorry. Su Qinghui's words were light, but to Su Peijian, it was like a bolt from the blue. Her body trembled slightly. She looked at Su Chenghui, refusing to accept this fact. Impossible. It's impossible. You lied to me. Why did you lie to me? She suddenly stepped forward and grabbed Su Qinghui's clothes. Her eyes were red. Tears gathered in the corners of her eyes. Dad, you lied to me, right? How could Su Qingsang be my daughter? How could I be that woman's child? This is impossible. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. She was very emotional. This news had really subverted her understanding. She refused to accept this fact. Peijian, Su Chenghui was speechless. It's true. If you don't believe it, you can do a paternity test. In fact, Hua Jinyao has already done a paternity test. I don't believe it. Su Peijian suddenly let go of his clothes, took a step back, and shouted at Su Chenghui. I don't believe it. I don't care. I'm the daughter of the Su family. I am my mother's daughter. She seemed to think of something. She suddenly looked up at Su Chenghui. It's because of Hua Jinyao, isn't it? Yes, it's because of Hua Jinyao. Su Peijian felt that she had guessed correctly. It was because of Hua Jinyao. Because he is the CEO of Tianyu Group? Because Su Qingsang is married to him? So you think Su Qingsang is more useful to you, right? Is that right? Peijian. Su Chenghui couldn't listen anymore. What nonsense are you talking about? Isn't it? Su Peijian refused to believe Su Chenghui's words. Why did you take revenge now? Also, how did Mom know? She felt that this was the key point. Didn't you want to take revenge on Mom? If that's the case, why did you tell Mom? Why didn't you keep this secret in your heart for the rest of your life? Why? Su Peijian's whole body was weak. She fell to the ground. She couldn't face the fact that she wasn't Li Qianxue. If her identity was swapped with Su Qingsang's, didn't that mean that she was the illegitimate daughter? How could she be an illegitimate daughter? She didn't want to be an illegitimate daughter. She was the real daughter of the Su family. Su Chenghui looked at Su Peijian. He knew that it was hard for her to accept this fact. But the truth was the truth. It wouldn't change whether she accepted it or not. Peijian, get up. I'll take you down. Dad? Su Peijian looked up at him. You're going to tell them that what my mother said just now was all false. Is that so? No. Su Chenghui shook his head. He had already made a mistake, so he would try to make up for it. I'm going to take you to your real mother. Real mother? Who? The old woman who slapped her in the face? Su Peijian couldn't stop shaking her head. The tears that had gathered in her eyes finally fell. When Su Chenghui approached, she hugged his leg. Her voice was even more pitiful than before, and it was even more unbearable. Chapter 454. Her voice was sobbing, but the meaning she wanted to express was quite clear. Su Chenghui smiled bitterly. Look, even his daughter knew that Li Qianxue loved him very much, and so did he. However, he relied on her love for him and then squandered it endlessly. In the end, when his love was squandered, his lover was also gone. Dad, just promise me, please. I beg you. I don't want to be someone else's daughter. I only recognize my mother. I have lived with her for more than 20 years. I know that she loves me the most. You also love me the most. I did do something wrong in the past, but you're my parents. You can forgive me. Is that all right? I beg you. I promise I will be obedient in the future. I promise I will never make you angry again. Dad, you can go and tell my mom about it. I beg of you. If you tell her, she will definitely agree. Really? As she spoke, tears streamed down her cheeks like a pear blossom in the rain. Su Chenghui couldn't bear it anymore. However, no matter how much he couldn't bear it, it couldn't compare to his regret at this time. He had already been wrong, and he wouldn't be wrong again. Su Chenghui reached out to pull Su Peijian. She hugged his leg so tightly that at first he couldn't pull her hand away smoothly. In the end, he made up his mind. He gritted his teeth and pulled Su Peijian's body up and straightened her body. Peijian, calm down. Calm down and listen to me. I won't listen. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to a word. I don't want to believe it either. I don't want to believe you. Liar, they were all liars. They were all lying to her. Dad, don't you love me the most? You love me so much. How can you bear to let me be an illegitimate daughter? I don't want it. Su Chenghui's expression didn't look good. He did love Su Peijian the most. However, he didn't expect Su Peijian's attitude to be so fierce. And such a fierce attitude was actually because she didn't want to be an illegitimate daughter. Su Peijian. His tone became cold. This matter has no room for you to interfere. Dad. Su Peijian looked at him blankly, unwilling to accept it. It's useless if you don't accept it. Su Chenghui let out a long sigh. In the past, I let Qianxue and Qingsang down. The past is already a mistake. Now, I don't want to continue this mistake. Especially when he realized what was most important to him. Su Peijian kept shaking her head. She refused to accept it. Suddenly, she pushed Su Chenghui hard. I don't accept it. If he did not accept it now, he would not accept it in the future. I will never accept it. She took a step back, turned around, and ran out the door. Su Qingwei didn't expect Su Peijian to push him. He took 2 steps back. Before he could react, Su Peijian had already run out of the room. In a hurry, he quickly followed them. Downstairs, Su Qingsang recognized almost all the relatives who came. There seemed to be a lot of people, but Su Qingsang had met many of them before. He knew a little about it. Great-grandfather Li had 2 sons and a daughter. My great-aunt had 2 daughters and a son. These people were her elders. As for great-grandfather Li's grandchildren and great-aunt's grandchildren, they were the same generation as her. There was nothing much to say about the elders. After greeting them and accepting their gifts, that was it. As for those who didn't bring gifts, it didn't matter. Most of these people relied on the Li family to survive. They all said that they would make up for the gifts later. Of course, the important thing was not the gifts, but the recognition of Su Qingsang's identity. With Li Qianxue and Old Master Li's support today, Su Qingsang would be the real daughter of the Su family in the future. No one could look down on her. After recognizing her, the elders gathered together to talk. A few of the younger generation came to Su Qingsang and surrounded her to talk to her. In fact, among these people, 2 were Old Master Li's granddaughters, and 1 was the granddaughter of her great-aunt. These people used to have a good relationship with Li Qianxue. Although they didn't bully Su Qingsang, they often followed Su Peijian and mocked Su Qingsang. Now, Su Qingsang's identity had changed greatly. They also knew what good things she had done in the past. Now, he was rushing to curry favor with her. Qingsang. The person who spoke was the 3rd granddaughter of Old Master Li. Her name was Li Yishan. She was one of the people who looked down on Su Qingsang the most in the past. Well, I've never been a good person with words. If I offended you in the past, please don't take it to heart. Why would I? Su Qingsang smiled. She really didn't care about these things. They're all small things. I knew Qingsang was easy to talk to. Li Yishan smiled and looked at the 2 people next to her. Li Zhirong, who used to despise Su Qingsang, chimed in. Yeah, you can tell by looking at Su Qingsang's physiognomy. She's a magnanimous person. Qingsang. Bai Jinlan was the granddaughter of her great-aunt. Because she was the youngest, she was usually very spoiled at home. But now that she saw Su Qingsang, she knew that her family was not as good as the Li family. Naturally, her attitude was quite friendly. What does Qingsang like to play? Let's play together next time. Su Qingsang had laughed all day today. Her face was stiff. I don't usually play. There are a lot of things to do in the hospital. I'm usually busy. All right, Qingsang is a doctor. That's amazing. Bai Jinlan's other sister, Bai Yiru, said, next time we go to your hospital for a physical examination, can you give us a number in advance? Su Qingsang didn't know how to respond. I'm no longer working at the first hospital of Lin City. It might not be very convenient. You're not a doctor anymore? Li Yishan looked at Su Qingsang. Is it because you plan to enter the Li Corporation in the future? Hearing her question, the others looked at each other and waited for Su Qingsang's answer. If Su Qingsang entered the Li Corporation, there would be more cooperation in the future. This information was very important to the family. No, Su Qingsang was a little helpless. I might have to go to Rong City. As soon as she said that, the others remembered. Su Qingsang's husband was the president of Tianyu Group, and the headquarters of Tianyu Group was in Rong City. Qingsang, you're so lucky. Another granddaughter of her great-aunt couldn't help but say, I heard that Tianyu Group is one of the top companies in the country. The most important thing is that President Hua loves Qingsang very much. The one who spoke was Li Zhirong. She was also brought to Hua Jinyao's banquet last time. To be honest, she couldn't help but envy Su Qingsang's good life. Look, the man she married was the president of Tianyu Group. Suddenly, she became the daughter of the Su family. It didn't matter how she did it, but she did it. As she said this, the others also began to flatter Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang was really not used to this kind of conversation. She was thinking of finding an excuse to leave this group of people. On the other side, Su Peijian had already reached the door of the living room. As soon as Su Peijian entered the living room, she saw this scene. Those friends who usually surrounded her and were good friends with her were all around Su Qingsang now. Even through the crowd, she could clearly see the flattering faces of those people. These people were obviously different before, but now they had changed their attitude. Was it because Su Qingsang became the daughter of the Su family? Was it because Su Qingsang changed her identity? And this identity clearly belonged to her. If Su Peijian still had a trace of rationality before, now she was completely stimulated by the scene in front of her. She suddenly rushed in. She didn't look at Su Qingsang, but directly walked past the crowd to Li Qianxue. Mom. Li Qianxue was talking about some company matters with her two cousins. Since she had already decided to divorce Su Changhui, she had to make preparations. After the divorce, Su Changhui might not necessarily work at the Li Corporation again. Moreover, even if he wanted to stay at the Li Corporation, Li Qianxue wouldn't want to. She hated Su Changhui now when she thought of him. She had thought very clearly that Su Changhui couldn't be relied on in the future. Then she must add new people to replace Su Changhui's work in the company. Just as she was engrossed in the conversation, a familiar voice interrupted her. Turning around, she saw Su Peijian's pale face. It was obvious that she had cried. Her expression was a little serious. Peijian, why are you here? Have you rested well? This sentence had two meanings. Did Su Changhui tell you clearly? Since you know, why are you still here? I don't need a rest. Su Peijian used to be a smart person, but now her intelligence was gone without a trace. Her reason was also gone. All that was left was anger and pain for her lost identity. Mom, Dad, I lied to you, didn't I? I'm your daughter, right? Her voice was pleading. Li Qianxue had a mother-daughter relationship with her for more than 20 years. Now, seeing her like this, she felt a little suffocated. She hated Su Changhui more and more in her heart, but her face didn't change. You are the daughter of the Su family. Don't worry, this will not change. What she said was the last thing she could give Su Peijian. Su Peijian was still the daughter of the Su family. She was also willing to give her a decent life for the sake of the fact that she had raised her for more than 20 years. But fake was a fake. Since Su Peijian wasn't her daughter, she naturally wouldn't give her what didn't belong to her. Li Qianxue didn't think she was going too far. In fact, when she thought of Su Qingsang being wronged for so many years, as Xiang Caiping's daughter, Su Peijian had always enjoyed the benefits of her status and the title of the eldest daughter of the Su family. Her heart couldn't be softened anymore. With Su Changhui, she could divorce or fight with her. But with Su Peijian, she was still willing to owe her a little. It's not the same. Su Peijian almost immediately understood the difference. Mom, it's not the same. She looked at Li Qianxue and grabbed her arm. Mom, not only do I want to be the daughter of the Su family, but I also want to be your daughter. I'm your daughter. You raised me for more than 20 years. Isn't that right? Chapter 455. Su Peijian's tears began to gather again. In fact, she used to be arrogant and rarely cried. But today, she had the urge to cry again and again. Her hand gripped Li Qianxue's arm tightly, almost leaving a mark on Li Qianxue's arm. Li Qianxue looked at Su Peijian and felt sorry for her again. But when she saw Su Changhui, who also appeared in the living room, it disappeared without a trace. I told you, you will still be the daughter of the Su family. I don't want it. Su Peijian shook her head and heard the coldness in Li Qianxue's words. Mom, you really don't want me? I am Peijian. Don't you love me the most? Mom. After seeing Su Changhui, Li Qianxue waved her hand away. She felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. She glared at Su Changhui, and the hatred in her eyes deepened. I am not your mother, she said coldly. She admitted that she was venting her anger on him. She couldn't do anything to Su Changhui, but she could vent her anger on his precious daughter, right? You are not my daughter, and I am not your mother. Seeing Su Peijian's hurt face, Li Qianxue forced herself to turn her face away. Go back to your room and rest. There are many guests here now. Don't be rude. Don't be rude? Su Peijian looked at Li Qianxue in shock. What did she mean by don't be rude? Was she not the daughter of this family? Was she not even qualified to stay with these relatives after she was not Li Qianxue's daughter? She suddenly remembered. In the past years, as the illegitimate daughter of the Su family, what did Su Qingsang do? She shook her head hard. She refused to accept that one day she would do that. She didn't show up when there were guests in the house. She was like a shadow. She didn't want it. Mom, my Peijin. Su Qingwei came over. He took Su Peijin's hand and wanted to take her away. Let's go out first. I don't want to. Su Peijin waved his hand away. I don't want to go out. Why should I go out? I'm also a daughter of the Su family. She glanced at Li Qianxue and said, Mom just admitted that I'm also a daughter of the Su family. Since I am the daughter of the Su family, why should I go out? Su Qinghui's face darkened. Su Peijin's behavior gave him a headache. Peijin, come with me. I'm not leaving. Su Peijin turned around and looked at Li Qianxue. Are you really going to do this to me? Do you really not want me anymore? Are you really not going to acknowledge me as your daughter? Li Qianxue was originally willing to protect Su Peijin's dignity, but now she really didn't like her aggressiveness. In addition, Su Qinghui was still next to her. With both sides provoked, Li Qianxue spoke without thinking. Yes, I don't want you anymore. You are not my daughter either. She glared at Su Qinghui with obvious provocation in her eyes. Now my daughter is Su Qingsang. She is my daughter. Su Peijin's face was pale, and her whole body was shaking like an autumn leaf in the wind. Su Qinghui couldn't bear it. When he met Li Qianxue's eyes, he knew that she was venting her anger on him. He smiled bitterly in his heart and stepped forward to hold Su Peijin's shoulder. Peijin, let's go. It was time for him to take Su Peijin to Xiang Kaiping. Even if Xiang Caiping's attitude was just as sharp and she refused to acknowledge it. But after all, they were mother and daughter. After spending some time together, there would be feelings. Don't touch me. Su Peijin stood to the side, avoiding Su Chenghui's hand and also standing opposite Su Chenghui and Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue had been standing to the side when she was chatting with others. After all, her daughter was the main character today. She hoped that Su Qingsang could get more attention. But this way, Su Peijin could clearly see the other people in the living room from this angle. Old Master Li was looking in her direction, his brows tightly knitted, and his face looked dissatisfied with her. Su Yusin, who was next to him, looked at her with a look of wanting to say something, but his eyes were also clearly looking forward to her leaving as soon as possible. Finally, it was Su Qingsang. She was still surrounded by those people. She was also looking at her. Her eyes were calm, and there was no emotion in them. But Su Peijin saw sympathy and pity in her eyes. That kind of emotion was something she could not tolerate. Who was Su Qingsang? Since when did she, Su Peijin, deserve sympathy? Why did she have to look at her like that? How could she treat her with such a condescending attitude? Su Peijin could not accept it. She glared back at Su Qingsang. Did she really think that her identity could decide everything? In her dreams. Let them wait and see. She wanted to see who would be the one laughing at the end. Peijin. Su Chenghui noticed Su Peijin's gaze, and his expression became complicated. Li Qianxue also saw the expression on her face. For the past 25 years, Li Qianxue had treated Su Peijin so well. Now, she felt as guilty as Su Qingsang. She suddenly saw her adopted daughter looking at Su Qingsang with such hatred, and she could not stand it. Peijin, stop it. Go back to your room first. Her voice was a little cold. To Li Qianxue, Su Qingsang was the daughter she owed for more than 20 years. What happened in the past was in the past. She could not take it back, but she would never allow anyone to bully Su Qingsang in the future. Even if that person was Su Peijin, whom she had raised. Her voice was full of warning. When it fell into Su Peijin's ears, it only made it more unacceptable. I'm making a scene? She wanted everything that originally belonged to her. How did she become the one making a scene? Can I make a scene? She pointed at Su Qingsang. You didn't say anything, and you changed my identity. I can't even ask. I can't even protest, can I? She could only accept this unfair fate, couldn't she? Su Peijin. Li Qianxue could not listen to it anymore. Watch your words. Look at the situation. Your father has already told you what you want to ask. I've also told you the answer you want to know. You're not calm now. It's better for you to leave. She tried to lower her voice so that more people would not hear her. Unfortunately, Su Peijian did not appreciate it. I'm not calm. Su Peijian nodded heavily. Good, 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 very good. Anyway, it's all my fault now. It's all my fault. Okay. She looked around at the people in front of her. Her family, her relatives, and her parents, whom she loved the most. She kept nodding and looking at these people. Finally, she stomped her feet, turned around, and ran away without looking back. She moved so fast that Su Changhui did not have time to stop her. She ran away. Su Changhui frowned. He was about to chase after her when he met the corner of Li Qianxue's lips and sharp eyes. Chapter 456. Meeting Su Chenghui's gaze, Li Qianxue took a step forward and stood in front of him. Peijian is a little stubborn. You'd better go and comfort her. Some things were already set in stone, so he could only accept it. There was nothing he could do if he didn't accept it. Su Chenghui was silent. As soon as he turned around, he heard Li Qianxue's voice behind him. Su Chenghui, is this what you want? Is this what you want to see? Are you satisfied now that you've seen it? He had single-handedly carried out his revenge. Now, was he happy? Was he proud? Su Chenghui's body trembled, as if all his strength had been sucked out. He didn't look back, and his back was stiff. Li Qianxue, who was behind him, obviously didn't intend to let him go. Su Chenghui, I really want to kill you. When she said this, there was even a smile on her face. People who didn't know what was going on would think that the two of them were talking about the child. Only they knew that what they were talking about had nothing to do with the child at all. Her voice was cold, and the hatred in it made Su Chenghui's heart feel as if it was being squeezed. He resisted the urge to turn around and chased after Su Peijian without looking back. It was just that from the back, it looked like he was running away in a panic. Li Qianxue didn't care about Su Chenghui. She turned around and smiled again. It was a holiday. It was another good day for Su Qingsang. She didn't want someone like Su Chenghui to affect her mood. Su Qingsang didn't say anything. She watched Su Peijian run out just like that, and she didn't know how to feel. At this moment, she really sympathized with Su Peijian. Li Zhirong and Li Yishan looked at her as if they wanted to say something. Su Qingsang smiled at them and found an excuse to go to Li Qianxue's side. Mom, Li Qianxue's attitude was very tough just now, so she was probably still feeling bad. Are you okay? I'm fine. What could have happened to me? Li Qianxue's expression was calm. In fact, she didn't really dislike Su Peijian that much. But as long as she thought that she was Su Chenghui and Xiang Caiping's daughter, she would panic. Not to mention the fact that Su Chenghui had swapped Su Qingsang's identity with hers in order to let Su Peijian live like the daughter of a wealthy family. As soon as she thought of this, Li Qianxue felt as if there was a fire burning in her heart. That fire burned until she lost all rationality. If Su Peijian was hurt because of her attitude today, she couldn't blame her. Su Chenghui was to blame. She took a deep breath and held Su Qingsang's arm. I'm fine, but you, in the future, you must always remember your identity. If someone doesn't have eyes and provokes you, you will be punished. You don't have to be polite, just teach them a lesson. If there's anything, Mom will take care of it for you. Mom. Su Qingsang finally understood where Su Peijian's arrogance came from. Who would provoke me for no reason? You think too much. I'm telling you. Which normal person would mess with Su Qingsang? He was afraid that some people would be blind. Li Qianxue recalled the look in Su Peijian's eyes when she left. She couldn't tell what she was feeling. She patted the back of Su Qingsang's hand and said, Speaking of which, I shouldn't have said that to you. But today's situation, I think you saw it. I'm afraid Peijian won't want to let go. If she makes things difficult for you, you don't have to worry. You could do whatever you want. Mom, I know. Su Qingsang smiled at her and comforted her. You don't have to think too much. I think Peijian just can't get over it. She'll get better in the future. I hope so. After all, She had raised her for more than 20 years. Li Qinxue didn't want to think too badly of Su Peijian. It was okay if she just couldn't get over it. She was afraid that if she couldn't get over it, she would get herself into trouble, or she would do something else. She looked at Su Qingsang and wanted to remind her, but thinking that Su Qingsang would soon return to Rong City, she gave up. In any case, the two of them wouldn't have many opportunities to meet in the future. Some things didn't need to be said. When Su Qingsang left Rong City, when she recovered from the shock of her child being stolen, she should be able to face Su Peijian normally. Although there were some twists and turns on this day, Su Qingsang's identity was announced to her relatives and friends. When seeing the guests off, Li Qinxue still cared about Su Peijian. She explained it to those relatives. Su Peijian would still be the daughter of the Su family in the future. Today's incident would be treated as a small interlude. To be able to survive in this circle, how many of them were stupid? She also understood. Li Qinxue still had motherly feelings for Su Peijian. Su Peijian was still the daughter of the Su family. The necessary respect and dignity would still be given to her. Li Qinxue saw the last relative off and returned to the living room. She found old Master Li sitting on the sofa, looking like he was waiting for her. "Where's Qingsang?" Asked her to go upstairs to rest. Old Master Li gestured for Li Qinxue to sit on the sofa before he slowly said, "What do you plan to do about Peijian?" Today, Li Qinxue wasn't the only one who saw the resentment in Su Peijian's eyes before she left. Old Master Li also saw it. The old man naturally thought more than Li Qinxue. For so many years, Su Peijian had occupied Su Peijian's position. She had enjoyed what she wanted, and she had gotten what she wanted. In terms of the assets under her name, Su Peijian was much more than Su Peijian. She had her own house at the age of 16, and the gifts Li Qinxue gave her at the age of 18 were all businesses that made money. When she was 20, Li Qinxue bought her a villa. Although the villa couldn't compare to this big house, it was still very valuable. There were also birthday gifts from old Master Li, gifts from Su Chenghui every year, cars under her name, and some other investments in financial management. It could be said that Su Peijian had many assets under her name. However, since these things were given to her, Li Qinxue didn't plan to take them back. Old Master Li had wanted to give Su Peijian another dowry, but seeing Su Peijian's behavior today, he was a little worried. Although what Chenghui did has nothing to do with Peijian, but you saw how she was just now. People who were not content were like snakes trying to swallow an elephant. He was afraid that what they thought was enough, Su Peijian didn't think it was enough. "Dad, I know what I'm doing." If Su Peijian could recognize her identity and know her place, it would be good for everyone. If she didn't know her place and insisted on going against Su Qingsang, he was afraid that it wouldn't be so easy. It's good that you know what you're doing. Old Master Li also had feelings for Su Peijian. However, these feelings couldn't suppress the emotions of being deceived by Su Chenghui, and they couldn't suppress the anger of his daughter being bullied. Although Old Master Li gave Su Chenghui some pressure because Li Qinxue was pregnant and made him marry Li Qinxue. But if Su Chenghui really didn't want to, he could refuse. It wasn't that the Li family couldn't afford to raise a child. If he didn't agree, they couldn't tie him up and bring him to the hall. But Su Chenghui was different. He said one thing on the surface and another behind her back. He agreed to marry Li Qinxue in front of her, but behind her back, he used such a vicious method to hurt his daughter. As soon as Old Master Li thought of this, he was like Li Qinxue. No matter how much he loved Su Peijian, it couldn't offset his anger. Perhaps realizing that his tone was not very good, Old Master Li sighed. When Qingsang goes to Rong City, you don't have to stop her if she wants to come back and live there. Since the family allowed Qingsang to stay, we naturally won't kick her out. With her identity as the daughter of the Su family, even if Su Peijian were to get married in the future, Su Peijian would not be able to get married. It didn't have much of an impact. They were just afraid that she wouldn't appreciate it. At that time, as her elders, they would all be thinking for nothing. Li Qinxue didn't say anything. She thought so too. Upstairs, Su Qingsang was exhausted. She changed her clothes, picked up her phone, and called Hu Jinyao. "Honey." Hu Jinyao answered the phone very quickly. Su Qing-sang could vaguely hear voices on the other end of the phone. It should be the whole family. Are you home? Yes. Hua Jinyao nodded, stood up, and walked towards a hallway with his phone in his hand. I'm at home. Great uncle and great aunt are here today. How could Su Qing-sang not know that it was the Lantern Festival today? Say hello to Grandpa for me. She wanted to say that she would go to Rome City in 2 days, but she didn't say it. She decided to give Hua Jinyao a surprise. Don't worry, Grandpa knows. You only know how to coax me. I'm afraid that Grandpa is still very angry. Even when Manzi jumped out to criticize her, she was afraid that the elders of the Hua family would have an even worse opinion of her. Look at you. You're thinking nonsense again, aren't you? I said it's fine, so it's fine. Just stay there and keep your mother company. Hua Jinyao. Su Qing-sang nodded, but suddenly called his name. What's wrong? I miss you. On the other end of the phone, Hua Jinyao curled his lips. Since you miss me, stay with your mother for a few more days and come quickly. Use your actions to prove what you think of me. Hooligan. Su Qing-sang bit her lip and muttered, Okay. After hanging up the phone, Su Qing-sang's face was a little hot. She patted her cheeks to cool it down. She threw down her phone and lay down on the bed. She was thinking about whether she should book a plane ticket back the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow, she would pack up and buy some gifts for old Master Hua and the others. Thinking of gifts, Su Qing-sang remembered the ones she bought last time. They were still in Hua Jinyao's villa. Should she go and get them tomorrow? Before that, she should say hello to Li Qinshua first. After all, she said that she would go to Rome City with her. While Su Qing-sang was thinking about going to Rome City, Su Peijian couldn't let Su Qinghui catch up with her. After leaving the Su family, she got in her car. She drove as fast as she could, but in the end, she found that she had nowhere to go. The Su family was her home, but now she couldn't go back to the Su family. Her home was occupied by Su Qing-sang. She could go back to her apartment, but it was cold and she was the only one there. She didn't want to go back. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.